Stinished It is recorded on the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any First Nations people listening.
We acknowledge the long history of storytelling undertaken on this land.
Welcome back to Stinished It, the podcast where we chat about the things we've started, finished, and what we're looking forward to. I'm Reuben, and it's going to be 28 today, so we'll see how we go. And this...
I'm Jett, and you know what I realized?
Is Jett.
Oh. You know what I realized this morning?
What did you realise
I was having
this
to think
morning?
about the podcast.
That's never good for me personally.
No, it isn't.
No.
Well, what I realised, I'll tell you what I realised this morning is, I realised on this podcast where we talk about the things that we've recently started, finished, and what we're looking forward to in the ways of things coming up, and also looking a bit backwards into the things that we've previously done. I realised that I could just lie.
Oh, no.
And say that I've started something when I haven't.
And then go and start it?
No.
Oh.
Just outright say that I've done something, started or finished, or say that I'm going to do something.
I feel like a started it is easier to lie about.
It'd be hardest to lie about a following up. It's like, remember, I just have to gaslight you. It's like, oh yeah. Remember when we both watched Killers of the Flower Moon together last week?
Yeah.
I'm following up on that when we talked about it
great,
on last week's episode.
What was your follow-up?
Oh, my follow-up is I watched it again.
Oh, and?
I really like it this time.
Okay, more than the first time?
Yeah, the first time I hated it, and you had some blasphemous words to say about the supporting character specifically. Some very heinous things that I can't repeat on this podcast.
Oh boy, I don't remember any of this.
No, but when it happened.
So, but you liked it more this time?
You were very drunk at the time.
Oh yeah?
Of the time of watching the movie.
And
the time that we recorded the podcast and talked about it.
In that case, as you once famously said, I'm not responsible for anything I say when I'm drunk. So I feel like that's fine.
That's problematic.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said immediately after you said that.
When did I say that?
You don't remember?
No, I was drunk.
To be fair, you were sober at the time.
What was I referring to? Or don't repeat what I was referring to.
No, nothing specific.
Oh.
I mean, the conversation must have started somewhere, but you made it as just a blanket statement, I think. There was a third person in the room, so we can corroborate this and figure out what you were talking about specifically.
I'd rather not,
You'd rather not? That's what I thought.
Yeah, but anyways, you hated it. And I think you've only seen it once.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
Maybe if I watched it a second time, I would get it.
Maybe you would get it.
Maybe I would get out.
Maybe you would have some nicer things to say about that sweet, sweet supporting character cast member.
Maybe I would get on board.
Yeah. Maybe you would get off board.
Yep. Maybe this is getting
it would be
trickier
entertaining
and trickier. Oh, yeah?
because you wouldn't be bored anymore. Or you'd get off that
long movie.
That plank of board that you're floating on in the cinema. You know how some cinemas have like funny gimmicks, like drive-ins or like 40s
spray water at you or whatever.
Yeah. We went and saw it the first. You wouldn't remember because you were so drunk.
I wouldn't.
But we went and saw it at that cinema out in Buckleford. And the Buckleford cinema, it actually, it started off, it did this whole big thing where they wanted to theme the cinema every time they do a new movie. Kind of like how the Princess Theatre did The Cursed Child, like the stage play. And they had to...
Nova changed their canteen according to what movies are on sometimes.
Yeah, like that. So they changed it for the Titanic, where they just made it a big pool, and everyone was floating on boards of wood.
That's good.
And
but was it 2 people to a board? Or can you not fit 2?
You can't really fit 2 on the board.
But did they assign one board to each 2 people?
Well, they said, hey, look...
Basically, did they kill half the patrons?
Thematically, we can only have 1 people on the board, 1 person per board.
Right.
But if you can fit 2, which you can fit 2,
which everyone
then
can.
you're fine. So everyone was paired up. But they
Mythbusters
realized...
have ruined that movie.
After they did that first one, they realized how tough it would be to renovate the whole place. Yeah. So it's just always like that. So that's ever since Titanic came out. I don't know if you knew that, but that's the reason why
everything was swaying so much anyway, so to be honest, I didn't notice.
No.
I don't really remember.
Exactly. So maybe
everything was swaying before we got there, right? Or was that just me?
That was just you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that was just you. Goose, get out of the
cat
Goose,
is in the bathroom.
Goose!
I'm sorry, everyone.
Get out of the bathroom.
Pause the podcast.
We're not pausing the podcast.
favourite.
Don't make loud noises. We're still recording the podcast. Get her out of the bathroom.
Well, I'm attached.
Okay, detach yourself.
Okay, I'll detach. Well, that's what I was doing. That's why I was making all the noise.
Currently not
I was putting my
attached.
headphones down.
I'm not attached.
You're unattached. Don't knock that keyboard.
Oh my god. She's just lying there. Just in the middle
She
of
does
the
it when the mat's there, so I moved the mat this morning. Turns out she still lies exactly where the shower mat goes.
Give me a goose. Oh, poor thing.
Do it in the microphone, Goose, so the people can hear.
Make a meow, Goose. Nope. She doesn't care. She just wants to disrupt the podcast. She doesn't want
She's
to
like, I don't do it on call.
What? That was a weird sound.
Well, we got that one.
Goose, you know, get. Let me sit back down. Okay. Anyways. Ugh. Yeah, you got off the board at some point. So, we were hoping you'd get on board at look.
Yeah.
It's going to be a catastrophe. They haven't actually had anyone die there yet because everyone was able to fit on the boards. Yeah, talk about killers of the Flower Moon, more like killers of the drowning in a random cinema in Buckleford.
Have you got a drink this week?
I have got a drink this week.
This is a section. I'm declaring it.
This is
officially a section. We've been doing it for however many weeks.
What are you going to name it?
You got a drink this week?
Okay, yeah, I've got a drink this week.
There's 2 new sections this week. You got a drink this week and no mail this week, because they're both things we've done for like 6 episodes in a row. So they're just the things that we do now.
But we have mail.
I mean, we have mail.
And we need to do mail.
Which we'll do mail next week.
No. We have enough time to do mail. We're doing mail at the end of this.
We'll see.
No, we're doing mail.
We'll see. I might fall off a board. And then what are you going to do?
People have sent in mail.
Have
and
they?
They're expecting...
I mean, yeah, they have. I objectively know that they have.
They're expecting a response.
Are they? I feel like they shouldn't be at this point.
This is not a kind thing to do.
What?
To our loyal listeners. Hey, send in mail and then we don't answer
We
it.
ask for mail every week. We're like, send it in.
We need to do mail at least once.
I think
Again.
I'm still here for all mail episode. Christmas special, all mail. Because then we can actually respond to it rather than just like slamming through it at the end. Thoughts? We do 1 a year.
2 a
year? 1 a season. A season.
What's a season?
Summer, winter, autumn, spring.
Oh, I thought you meant
What's a
season 1 of Stinished It. Now we're stopping. We're taking
Every time we upload a podcast, our podcast host is like, is this part of it? Do you want to give this a season number? And every time we're like, no, they just go for it. What are you
Aren't we
about?
the podcast hosts?
I mean...
Is there a third mysterious podcast host?
Damn, Jimmy, I'm so sorry. I kept your secret for 18 episodes, but I'm just giving it away. It's
Jimmy's
Jimmy.
our podcast host?
Yeah.
I thought it might be
Podcast
Goose.
host. No. She doesn't want to be on the podcast. She just wants to disrupt it. We established
Yeah, like
this.
the podcast, secret podcast host.
No,
who
Jimmy doesn't disrupt the podcast. Jimmy saves the podcast.
I don't trust Jimmy.
If this was just us, mess. Wouldn't ever be listenable.
Do you want to hear about my drink?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, it's you probably heard it.
You got a drink
rattling
this
around.
week? Now you can go.
I'm not making a theme for that. To be clear, I'm not making a theme
God
for
damn it!
that.
It's worked the 2 other times.
It's an iced coffee.
Great.
I went to make an iced coffee this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Reuben, would you like a coffee? Reuben, what did you say?
No thanks.
I said, okay. Well, it'll be nice anyway. Reuben, do you want another drink? Do you want a tea?
Oh, yeah, sure, yes please. Yeah.
Great. What sort of tea do you want?
I don't know, peppermint?
Perfect. I'll make you a tea. I start boiling the kettle, and then I go to get the milk for my coffee. No milk. So I end up just making Reuben a tea. And then
It was a nice tea.
left in the lurch without any drink. So I skated over to the supermarket. It took me ages.
Wait, are you telling me that if we had milk, we would have started the podcast then?
Yes.
And that trip almost turned into a multiple shop trip.
What do you mean multiple shots? Oh,
You
yeah.
almost went elsewhere.
Yeah, I almost went JB Hi-Fi to get headphones.
I didn't realise that the coffee making was connected to the podcast. Now, I should have.
Yes.
But I didn't.
Because I needed a drink.
Yeah.
We have that classic segment.
Yeah.
Have you got a drink?
I've forgotten.
You got a drink this
You got a
week?
drink this week?
Yeah. God. That's what I asked you before we went to the Buckleford cinema.
You got a drink this week? And I said, I've had nothing but drinks this week. Yo, can I please have an elbow? The whole world is spinning.
An elbow?
Yeah.
What's an elbow?
Just like, I need to grab something.
What?
I don't know, I wasn't thinking straight.
Hey everyone, can I please have an elbow? I'm not feeling well. Can I have an elbow?
You know when you've had a fair bit to drink and people, I mean, I don't know why.
Yeah, people
I'm the
say,
one
hey,
who's-
I need to sit down for a
No,
second.
people say, have you had something to eat?
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, no. Can I have an...
Are you
does anyone
eating
have an
elbows?
elbow? Yeah, that's where I'm going with this, all right? We're doing eating elbows. Unless you want to tell me what you've started.
Are they good?
It's your choice.
A good hangover cure, I've heard.
I mean, are you going to gnaw on them like a chicken wing or whatever? It's kind of satisfying.
Yeah, they're like the end
I don't
of like
drink or eat meat. Why am I doing this
Are
segment?
these like the end of like a chicken, you know, like chicken legs, how they have that like real hard, like sort of
like a little
mushy.
knob. Yeah.
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 Is that what
Like the end of the...
Is that what elbows are?
What? Well...
Because I never know what those are. I also don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in years, except for when I ate meat while I was in America, because they don't have vegetarian options in the Midwest. Sorry, tangent over. Yeah, is that what is in an elbow?
Is your finished a turkey burger this week?
No.
Ah.
Why would it?
It's a good story.
It is a good story. Maybe I'll tell it. Maybe I won't. Anyways, I've got in here coffee, milk, ice, and get this, salt.
Oh no. And
I can't really taste the salt, which
Okay.
is a good thing.
that's good. Do you want to give us a little jingle in the microphone of the ice? It's a nice sound.
I don't know. Is it a nice
Yeah.
salt? Okay.
It's good.
Nice. Excellent. I also have a second drink, which is just mineral water to keep me hydrated.
You've got to have that.
Wow.
I have a water bottle that I can't open while we're on air, which I bring every time.
And you never...
I can never open.
Never drink from it. Do you want to start the podcast?
Yeah, let's start the podcast.
Okay. What have you started this week?
What have I started? I'm going first?
Yeah.
I have started... I mean, I didn't start it this week, but what I have started is The Final Empire.
I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light.
Dun, dun, dun. Wait, the Final Empire
The
implies...
Final Empire.
Okay.
Implies previous empires?
Yes, but doesn't imply any future empires,
No.
which is a very bold claim.
Bold claim.
Is this like a Final Fantasy situation where there are 17 of them and they're never the final one? Welcome
Maybe,
to
I
the
don't know.
Final
I haven't finished
Empire.
the
We're the
book
last
yet.
one, we swear.
Yeah.
Wait, is the Final Empire as in... Sorry,
There
I'm
are
just
two
gonna-
more books. I'm going to
just
tell you that for free right
immediately,
away.
like,
No,
cut
this is
you-
great. Let's
it's
go
like,
there.
Final Empire.
Yep.
Does that imply that there's one empire and they destroyed it, then there's no more? Or that's the last empire that's ever going to exist?
Great question.
Good.
The guy who made the empire just named it.
Oh.
So I think it's a bit of a don't overthrow me. This is it. This is the last one.
This
We're not
is-
doing any more changes of anything, all right?
This
This
is...
is the final empire.
By the guy who named it, do you mean the author or do you mean the character in the
I
story?
mean, look, in a meta sense, the author, but like the emperor, the lord ruler, named his empire the final empire. Like that's
such a
it.
dumb name.
I know,
Such
risky,
a
right?
dumb name. Yeah.
It's like, do you dare me? Yeah, sure I dare. Oh, it's the final empire. Okay, man. Cool.
It's like naming your kid Great Alexandre and then just praying to God that he becomes out great. There's a big truck going by. Can you hear that?
big truck.
We
I can hear it in my real ear, but not in my podcast ear.
Oh, well, that's good. Anyways,
my
let's,
cyborg podcast
in that
ear.
case, we can just
That was
continue.
expensive.
We can just continue and just not and pretend it didn't happen.
yeah.
If
just not bring it up.
Yeah, just not bring it up.
Yeah, cool.
Tell me about this final empire.
Okay.
Do you think it's a good empire? Do you think it should keep going? Do you think it
Oh,
should
do you
be
want
the
me to tell
final
you a
one?
bit about this empire and you can tell me whether or not you think it's good or bad?
Yeah, I'll give it pro.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was gonna say, you tell me things and I'll tell you if that's a pro or a con.
Okay, so I'll divide it into kind of a listicle
Oh,
kind
this
of
is a
vibe.
fun game.
Okay, great. There's no green plants left.
Are there other colors of plants?
Yes.
That's pro.
Okay.
Because then you get funky colors. We have too
Like
many green
brown.
things.
They're explicitly black, grey, and brown.
All of them?
All of them.
Those are barely colors. That's turning it into a con.
Glad I clarified.
Tell me another thing.
There's volcanoes that permanently spew out ash and everything is covered in ash all the time.
That's be pretty and add extra colors. So that's a pro.
One in every 10,000 people get to use metal to do magic.
Whoa, that's a big pro.
Almost everyone is a slave forever.
What sort of slave?
Like feudal menial labor for your entire life and also every other generation.
Do you have your... I don't know how to ask questions without it sound like I'm justifying slavery. I was going to say, are your meals paid for and do you have a place to sleep for free?
Meals, yes, but they're terrible.
Okay.
And place to sleep
How
sometimes.
colourful are the meals?
Oh, not colourful. It's described as a yucky gruel all the time.
Okay, yeah, this is a con. Slavery is a con, everyone.
Slavery is a convict? That's nothing. What have I not
Are you
said? I
drunk?
feel
Do you
like-
need a knee?
Yeah, please. I didn't have
Sorry, not a knee. I meant an elbow, not a knee.
No,
I
I
don't
mean
want to
knee.
give up my knees.
No.
Elbows I can live without.
Yeah.
Knees I need for walking.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up my knees.
Your
I'm so
elbows are
sorry.
more important than you realise.
What? No.
I mean,
I could give
Yeah.
up one arm easily.
but what if it's your right
Very
arm?
easily. Very easily.
Really?
I've wanted my... Well, technically, ever since I was a kid, I was like, you know what? If I were to lose a limb,
Yeah.
it would be an arm.
Yes.
Preferably my left arm. But I could do my right arm because...
Right arm or left leg, you'd still choose the right arm?
Yeah, right arm for sure.
Because legs, the distinction doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, because then, also, I'll get it replaced with the cybernetic arm. And
Yeah.
it'll be even better than my normal arm.
But would a cybernetic leg be better than your normal leg?
I feel like no.
I mean, I've got a podcast cybernetic ear, and it can't even hear the truck outside. So I feel like you got to readjust your expectations of cybernetics here.
Well, yeah, I don't know why 9-year-old me thought that my parents would have enough money to buy me a cybernetic
You
arm.
were like, healthcare is universal here, right?
Yeah, which
That
means,
counts, right?
Yeah, I
That
honestly,
means any medical need is catered for,
I was
right?
like, I wonder why people don't chop off their limbs more often when you could just get a cybernetic one. Also, I feel like if you had a cybernetic, like, look, also, if anyone listening, it like people without legs, that happens, and it's a real thing having cybernetic arms or legs, or also just not that, and basically like very very minimal
Right,
functional.
but we're
legs.
talking about 9-year-old Jett's imagining of a cybernetic limb.
Exactly. I think that a cybernetic leg, because you're walking on your legs, you'd have a bit of a hobble, and they have to be calibrated to each other, like your legs. And your legs are naturally pretty calibrated to each other.
But
so
your
there'll
arms
be
are a bit more independent.
it would be a lot of adjustment to get them working together well. Also, if you have a super fast, I don't know, left cybernetic leg and a normal human right leg, then it would be weird. It would be off. You know? It's like you can't sprint with one leg and not sprint with the other.
Yeah.
But you can punch really hard with one arm.
Why
and
would
not.
I ever want to sprint really fast with one leg and not? I guess if only one leg had the capacity.
Although, because it's probably made out of metal, it can hold you better. So you probably can be able to sprint with one leg. The balance would be weird. But I feel like the cybernetic leg could compensate. Like maybe the foot goes right in the middle of your body, so it's at the center of gravity.
Tom Cruise's
And just
too.
sort of like the forefoot, the
Yeah.
foreleg, you know, the knee down
Yeah.
just spins
Oh, yeah.
like super fast.
You could just make it a wheel at that point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. That would be pretty good. Yeah, like a unicycle. I hate unicycles though.
You would have ridden a unicycle.
I've tried.
Someone in your family
What
had
do you
one,
mean
right?
you would have?
Didn't
Yeah,
someone-
you would have.
Didn't your brother have one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah. That's why he would.
He
What do
did
you
it.
mean you would have.
He
That's
did a unicycle marathon for charity or something.
very cool and whatever.
In primary school. It's very impressive. Whatever.
So I feel like someone's got some internalized.
This is not
distaste.
internalized, this is externalized. I
you
tell
know what?
everyone
Great
how much
point.
I hate
You're
them.
literally broadcasting it.
Continue with the pros and cons.
What have we got so far? Oh, plants, slavery.
Plants, slavery,
They were both cons. I don't remember the pros. magic.
ash, and magic.
Wait, why is Ash a pro?
Well, it was a
covers
volcano-
everything all the time.
Yeah, but volcanoes doing cool. You get to see pretty color. It's like seeing the aurora borealis 24/7. And
But it's
also it'd
ash,
be
it's
great.
just
It would be
black.
great in winter.
Would it?
Yeah, keep you warm.
No, it's just ash.
You said it spews lava.
Yeah, no, I said spews ash. I mean, the volcanoes go off sometimes, but they're not in the city or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
now let's change into a con.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Um,
Go somewhere else. Why are they in this one?
Final Empire's pretty big.
How many? Well, how big is the empire? Because if there are other volcanoes that are spewing lava, go near one of those ones.
One of those ones.
I'm just saying. Like, if this is this the
won't.
final empire in all of the Earth? Is this
Seems
Earth?
like there's something external, a bit like songbirds and snakes. Like there's something out there somewhere, but the information
Big
about
songbirds
it's
and
super,
big snakes
big songbirds and big snakes
keeping
having
you
a
in your
fight.
safe cave.
Yeah, there's you know, it's kind of like a little bit myth or a little bit like no one quite knows how to get there or what the places are because information is controlled super tightly.
Yeah.
Yeah. More pros and cons.
Like trying to get around Melbourne. trying to get
South Yarra? I don't believe that exists.
Trying to go to the east or west in the northern suburbs. You're like, God, do I have to go? Apparently, maps is telling me I have to take a tram in and then out, but there's buses. But oh God, it's this mystical place called East Brunswick, and I'm in Brunswick. How do I get there?
Have you heard the fabled tales of the mythic land of Nunawading? No?
No, I haven't.
No, me neither. Never
I actually
heard of it.
don't know where Nunawading is.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do I
Every
get there? I don't
suburb,
know.
once you hit like Doncaster and any further out, all the same place in my head. And I'm talking like
You've lived out there
Lilydale,
too.
Emerald.
Yeah.
I'm talking places that are not even in Gippsland. It's all the same.
I believe it.
New Zealand, yeah, it's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Roughly the same distance to get to Glen Waverley as it is to New Zealand.
Yeah, it's like 2 buses, a tram, and a V line.
Yeah.
And wow.
Wow, Wellington.
I'm in Wellington. Continue telling me this listicle.
Oh God, I'm running out of. It's just going to be okay. Well, that's fine. I was going to say it's just going to be things I randomly remember, but
So
that's
it sounds
fine.
like grey skies, no
there's
colourful
a-
plants,
Yep, mhm,
slavery. Is this England?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's actually Hilary Mantel's The Mirror and the Light from the Wolf trilogy. Just a grim, gritty, horrible place that no one wants to live.
Perfect.
You've got an Inquisition where all the Inquisitors have steel pegs through their eyes and they can find you and murder you.
Steel pegs through their eyes.
Yeah, like.
How do they?
Sorry,
how
it's an
long?
audio medium, but I feel like everyone knows what I just did.
How long are the steel pegs?
I don't know, but they
Like
come out
clothes
the other
pegs?
side. So no, like.
Oh.
I'm thinking like railway like pegs, like
Oh. Okay.
chunky.
Like nails, like big nails.
Yeah.
So they come out the other side, back of the head.
Yeah.
This is pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So they can't move their eyes.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't have like they don't see with sight.
Oh,
They
okay.
see with metals and shit.
Metals and
Yeah.
shit. Oh, are they magic
There's some
metal
of the ones
powers?
who can do the magic.
Okay,
with the
but what
metal.
if they're not? So some of them have magic metal, which probably negates the
Yeah.
metal through the eye thing.
Yeah.
But then some of them aren't magic and just get nails stuck
No,
through their
only
eyes.
elementals can be Inquisitors.
Okay. I had a further.
Yeah, we have a 99% fatality rate actually.
The way we find out if people have
just
metal
stab
power,
them.
just stab them through the eyes. And by that point, you basically lobotomize them, so they're your inquisitive
Yeah.
slaves anyway. Wait, so yeah, does the nails go through the brain?
Yeah,
Okay, all right, keep going.
yeah. The way they move stuff is on boats through rivers and canals, which makes sense, except instead of using like wind or tides or current, they just have slaves pulling them from the bank.
Ha
Pro or con?
ha!
Yeah, right? Makes you think.
I mean, it would work.
yeah.
It's innovative.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that you know what? They're employing the masses.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna give that a pro.
Okay.
Also, side note, did
Yeah.
you see that that bit of news recently where I don't know who it was, but a big
I actually don't watch the news. I watch Melbourne train videos.
okay, well this is related. This is transport.
Oh great, maybe I've heard of it.
Some boat company or some government or something. Maybe it was the U.S. I don't know. Maybe
Cool,
it could have
specificity.
been a military. It was. They have boats and they're like, hey, we're doing some renewable energy with our boats. We're gonna put we're gonna make them wind powered. So put these big mass like sheets above them, so that it like catches the wind and then powers the boats, propels them forwards with that wind instead of just completely relying on the diesel or whatever they use to run the engines.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, that's a boat!
Why have we not been doing this the whole time?
I know, we've been doing it for years. So long. Couldn't arguably we have been doing this the whole time. Why have people changed to like, no, we're just going to use engines? Maybe have that as like a backup.
Yeah.
But like, no, we know how to transport things
Yeah.
over water.
Yeah.
We're doing it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Just chuck a bit of washing on top of your boat. Like, put your clothesline, grab your clothesline
Put
from
your
your
clothes
backyard
on.
and just chuck it out there. Your clothes will get dry at the same time. That's
great.
If you want to go faster, maybe use your bed sheets. God. Oh. Anyways,
Buffoons.
but these guys don't do that. They
Yeah, they
These
just
folks
get
just-
other people to pull it.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
They can put their wet clothes on the people. It'll probably dry off while they're walking. Or probably, no, their sweat would probably get it wet again. Yeah, they can just chuck a clothesline on the boat. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how these people dry their clothes.
I feel like if you go, there's like...
Oh, their volcano's so
curve,
hot, so it's
and
fine.
if you go too slow, your clothes don't dry because there's enough wind. And if you go just the right pace, the wind dries your clothes. But if you go too fast, you start like smashing through the waves, and it just wets your clothes again. So you got to hit that point right in the middle.
More pros and cons, let's go.
Oh, well, it's terribly boring and there's nothing to do. But pretty much every night the noble houses put on big fancy balls.
Oh.
But they kind of get boring after a while.
Can the slaves go?
No.
What about just for fun?
No.
What if
But
they
you can
want to be
sneak in if you put on a good enough show of being a noble. Like one of the main characters called Vin is like a Scar, which is the name of the slaves.
Yeah.
Like their caste or race, I guess, because it's inherited, whatever your parents are, you are. And they have been like a thief and a
real
beggar
Aladdin type.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're brought into the plan, the plot, and they have to pretend to be like a young noblewoman. So that's fun.
That's fun. And they get in?
They get in, but then pretty soon they start to hate it. They're like, wait, is this all that they do?
What do they do? Just stand around dancing? Do they?
A lot of dancing,
Cool.
a lot of chatting, gossiping.
Sounds like fun. Why would he hate this so quickly?
She's like, it's
Oh,
boring.
sorry, she.
Yeah.
Why would she hate this so quickly?
You're thinking of Aladdin, weren't you?
Yeah, I was thinking of Aladdin. You did get me. I was thinking of Aladdin.
It's not far off as a character type. Because it's like, she's got all these skills and instincts that she wants to use, and she wants to feel like she's contributing an instinct. Like her job, like she's the espionage bit. She's got to gather the intel.
Yeah.
But no one tells you, she's new in town. Even the character of the noblewoman is new in town, so no one wants to tell her anything. So she's getting like third-rate gossip that is weeks old and no good, and she's like, "There's nothing."
That sucks.
There was a scene where she brought stuff back to the team, and she was like, "I got this and this and this and this," and I spoke to 4 people and danced with them all, and they were like, "Yeah, great, we know all that." And she was like, "God damn it!"
Why didn't they tell her what they already knew?
I know, because it was so irrelevant to anything. But also, yeah, I don't know.
That's fun.
Helpful if the character of the noblewoman doesn't know it, I guess.
Yeah. Who's this written by?
Brandon Sanderson, who is a huge fantasy author that I have just never read.
Okay.
I'm also listening to it as an audiobook narrated by Michael Kramer, which is the first time I've listened to an audiobook.
Like as in Kramer from Seinfeld?
Sure.
Yeah, cool. That would be wild.
At this point, I would do a funny voice if I'd ever watched Seinfeld.
So would I, if I've ever watched Seinfeld.
Great,
I think I've watched
moving
one
on.
episode. Ahoy, I'm Kramer.
Nice. Can I talk about the magic for
I'm
a
going
sec?
to talk about fantasy now.
Oh, jeez.
Read my fantasy books, I'm Kramer. I love doing a final. What the fuck's the thing called? It's a final kingdom, final empire. We're gonna do 2 more books. 2 more books on my final empire. 2 more books. 2 more books. 2 more books on my final empire.
Did I mention
And I'll do 2 more books. 2 more books. That makes 5 books all up, and that's a good amount of books. And I'll do a sequel series with 5 more books. 5 more books. 5 more books. I also like to write little jigs like this, little songs like this, little jigs like this. Ho-hoy! My name is Kramer, and I'm also from Seinfeld.
It's like Tolkien putting Elvish songs in, but it's just random jigs that don't make any sense. Just, it's 3 pages of jig. Oh, god damn it.
2 pairs of jigs, 3 pairs of jigs, 3 more jigs for you and me. We get to sing two.
Driving, so I can't press skip on the audiobook. I've got 2.5 more pages of jigs.
Screw you, Reuben. You can't click you can't click skip, but you're gonna listen to the jigs, and I'm gonna sing the rest of the book as well, because I like to sing, because my name is Kramer. My character is basically Aladdin, and I don't really know what else to say. Basically, yep.
Do you want me to talk about the magic system now? Because there are 2 more pages of jigs that you could do if you want, but I don't want to make you do that.
Go ahead and talk about the magic system.
Okay, great. So there's like 8... Oh, wait, I've got one more pro and con.
Go.
There's a horrible mine where you get sent if you misbehave, and it kills almost everyone who's there.
I've got a horrible mind that'll kill you when you go in. It's mostly slaves that go in. I assume, do the slaves die, or is there other people as well who go in and die?
No, it's all safe.
It's all slaves. It's all slaves who are going into the mine. They come right in, they run right in, the grave collapse on them, and then they die. Who knows what they're mining? It doesn't really matter. It's basically just a big grave for all our slaves to go. Hoo-hoo!
It's called the Pits of Hath Sin. Don't sing a jig about the bits about Don't! I
to.
saw you wind up in your arms. How would you do that without an elbow? You'd have to be like, you'd be a one-sided jigger.
I just do it with
But
straight
with one
arms.
leg, you'd be a one-sided jogger, so, you know.
That was really good.
There's like 8 basic metals and they all do different things. Am I going to remember them all? No, but
Copper.
that's one of them. Oh, this is
Twine.
great. Let's make this a quiz. No, metals.
Okay,
Alloys. It's called allomancy as in alloy-mancy.
Steel.
Yep. This is great. I thought you were going to quiz me, but I'm quizzing you. This is an absolute win.
Aluminum.
No.
Oh.
Great guess.
Cobalt.
No.
Okay.
More
let's-
basic, some of them.
Gold.
Great guess, no.
Silver.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought this would be easier than it is.
What ones have I said? I said copper and I said steel.
Yes.
Those are the 2 correct ones. How many did you say there are?
8. But
8.
you can get to like, I'm going to say 5.
Okay. Metals. What are the metals that?
Don't think periodic table, think like metals that we use.
I'm trying to think.
Aluminium was very close to one of them.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's not. I'm not saying add an I to it. But I would do that if aluminium was one of them.
Okay. I don't know. What other metals do we have? Iron.
Yes.
Um.
Iron's still very similar. Almost like they're paired and do a similar but opposite thing.
Are they rare earth? Like
They're like
cobalt. You said there was no cobalt.
no cobalt. Some of them are like they're alloys mostly.
I don't know. I feel like I should know more metals.
Me too. I'm realizing how hard this is. One of them is a super obscure.
Titanium?
Great guess. No, think more simple. It's kind of medieval vibe.
Medieval? I don't know what ones I would use in... I don't know.
You're doing great.
Can you...
What are you? A cat on a hot?
Tin!
Yeah.
Give me
I
another.
think I got another hint. Oh, gee, I'm a cricketer, Gov. It's pretty hot out here, but I'm not going to wear sunscreen. I'm painting the top of my cheeks with...
Twine.
I realised that I shouldn't have used a cricket metaphor for you as soon as I started.
Sunscreen.
I'm going to put on...
Lip balm.
Okay, we're doing another one.
Vaseline.
What colour are metals?
Zinc.
Correct. But
Nice.
I hate it. Did you know that the whole time?
Yeah.
God damn it. That's 5.
Great. What are the other ones?
Oh, what did you say? Iron, steel, zinc,
Copper.
tin, copper?
Yeah.
Bronze?
Bronze.
Pewter?
Pewter. Okay.
Pewter, that one's hard.
Then what's the other one?
Oh, God damn it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you open my phone and look at the texts, my text conversation with you, there's a list ready to send.
Okay. What's your
Use
password?
my face.
Okay. That you don't
God.
open your mouth or you use your face.
Okay, great.
Use it. Okay,
If
go
you
into
go
the
to
text
texts.
conversations.
But don't tell me immediately, give me a second.
Oh my god, it's just nudes. Oh my
me a
god, it's
second.
just a bunch of nudes ready to send. You haven't sent them. Oh my god. Reuben, this is a lot. Oh my god, they're themed.
Just only send the ones you like, okay? I didn't
You're
know where
spelling
to
things
start.
out with your body, with your naked body. You're spelling out brass.
See where I need more elbows?
You're
Brass!
spelling
It's
out-
goddamn brass! Why did you start reading the list? I was gonna get that.
Alright, here's your phone back.
Thanks.
Can you send those? They're pretty fun.
Maybe
Pretty
that's a
creative.
conversation for off air.
Okay.
I'm not going to remember what all of them do, but basically there's 2 internal pushing, 2 external pushing, 2 internal pulling, and 2 external. Like they're paired up, so like iron and steel go together. And those
Okay.
ones are pushing metals and pulling metals. So when you have to eat or drink a little bit of the metal to like stock up. So they
Okay.
just drink like little pellets in a solution. And then it's called burning them, which is like burning carbs.
Okay.
We talked about that last week, right? Like how carbs are measured.
I think we just talked about that.
I didn't talk
in
about
our
that on the
personal
podcast.
life.
Oh no. Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. Tell
I
me.
feel like I heard it doesn't matter. This is not a conversation about carbohydrates.
Go.
Although you know that when you cook oil, that was a podcast conversation. When you cook olive oil, it snaps into like short ones that are bad for you.
Yeah,
you know that now.
we talked.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. If you burn iron, you pull something towards you, and if you burn steel, you push away from you. Might have that wrong, but it's done in a really interesting way that like physics actually matters. So it's not just like I'm going to push this coin until it hits the wall, right? I can do that, but as soon as it hits the wall, then I'm going to start flying backwards accidentally because I'm still pushing on the force of the coin, but that wall is a lot heavier than me, and so I start flying backwards.
Surely the coin would break before you do.
Yeah, but the body doesn't break; it just gets pushed backwards.
Yeah, but
like,
surely
off
the
balance.
coin, there would be enough force on the
So,
coin.
well,
that
the
it would
coins
start-
get flattened and deformed and all sorts
Yeah,
of things.
yeah.
But there's all this cool stuff about like accidental consequences. Like if you burn pewter, that's the internal pushing metal, so it like pushes your muscles and tendons to be like stronger and longer. Makes you stronger and faster and whatever. But if you're,
And
for
longer.
example, yeah,
Longer wear.
who's to say? Elbows. If you're
Okay.
carrying something real heavy and then your pewter runs out,
Not
you're
your
gonna get
pewter.
squashed. So there's a bunch of, and then, so that's just you and objects. But it gets really interesting when you have two allomancers, especially if they're mistborn, which means they can use all 8 of the metals instead of just one, fighting.
Like the Avatar.
Like the Avatar, except instead of like 3 elements, it's like 8 metals, which all do. Like you can, bronze pushes people's emotions, so I can like try to make you feel happier or sadder or more angry or like
Okay.
more willing to talk about stuff. And then there's just metals do so many different things. Like there's one that hides adamancy from anyone looking for you, so you should always be burning copper if you want to hide. It's fascinating.
That's
it's really
kinda cool.
It's like, and it's the sort of thing that could kind of only work in a book. Like you could adapt it for film or TV.
Honestly,
but
sounds like it would work
nuance.
as a video game.
Maybe that would be the only other way to do this, because there's so many. It's almost like fighting on multiple planes, like a physical plane and a bunch of other ways, as well, like outthinking.
It sounds
So
like,
good.
It does sound like a video. Like consume this thing, and then you use a consumable and it buffs this thing for a while, and you
Yeah,
have
that's
the power
true.
to push and pull things. I don't know, you consume something and then you can influence people in a particular way so that you have more positive outcomes with talking to them, or more negative ones, or push for specific
can see
information.
it.
I think it would work very well as like an RPG, like an action adventure RPG.
Let's have it. Let's have a Mistborn video game adaptation, please.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
It's good.
Video game, we're gonna make a video game. Video game is the next thing. I'm gonna call it the Final Empire, and I'm gonna make 17 of
theme
them
song.
in the wrong empire, in the wrong order, like Square did with all the Final Fantasy games.
That's fun. They're always remaking a previous. So it's like the new games this year are Final Fantasy 17 and Final Fantasy 6 remake, and I'm like, what is going on?
That's because you're not in the know-how.
That's because I'm not in the know, and
You
also
don't
because
know
they're
how.
just all named Final Fantasy Roman numeral number, even if they're a remake. It's just baffling.
Except for Final Fantasy 7 remake, which is
I guess.
it's Final
wouldn't
Fantasy
know.
7, and then they changed it.
But it was Final Fantasy 7.
There was Final Fantasy 7, which came out on the PS1, and now I have it.
Does that
on
mean they
disc.
made 7 games for...
No.
Do they have them as arcades?
No.
Do they start with a number?
They
that's not-
don't put them out in order.
Oh, I forget how Final Fantasy works.
They put out Final Fantasy 7, or they do sometimes put it out in order. It's like Kingdom Hearts; those are always out of order.
Yeah.
Put out Final Fantasy 7 on the
baffling series of
PS1,
games.
and then recently they've done Final Fantasy 7 remake. But the remake wasn't a full remake of the first game. It was a remake for like half or a third of like Final Fantasy 7, and it also changed the story. They added stuff, but they also changed the outcome of the story. And then it's being affected by the other timeline of the original Final Fantasy 7. And it's like jumping between, I think, a couple of other, like 1 or 2 other of the Final Fantasy games, which all Final Fantasy, they're an anthology, so all of them are different. Different stories, different characters. So it changes. So that game finished, and a bunch of people
Is
are
this like
upset.
an infamous situation where you port your save in terms of like your relationships with other characters and stuff?
Probably. Probably your stuff would carry over between the first. I think it does. Because the second one of that is coming out, where it's like a part 2. And in between those, they did a Final Fantasy VII Retrograde, which is like a DLC side story of another character who was in the original Final Fantasy VII, but wasn't in the remake, but now
Remaster,
is.
remake, reboot, retrograde. I think that should be another thing we do to video games.
I
Just play them backwards.
Sure, if you want to do that, you know what? You talk to Kramer and get that organized to do.
Oh no.
Final Empire Retrograde.
No, I'm not doing that. That Empire went for 1,000 years. If we're starting at the end, it's
Went
gonna get boring
for?
real quick.
Went 4 as in
Well,
finished?
I mean, it hasn't finished, but there's 3. They're trying to take down the Final Empire, right? Because a bunch of them want to do it for different reasons. But the skills that they all have and the world that they're familiar with is like, I guess it's like the gangs on the streets, but it's like it's like heists. They're like,
Okay.
teams that do thieving. That's the only way to make a profit. So they have constructed the revolution to attempt to take down the final empire as a heist.
That's fun.
Which is really cool.
That's
I
cool.
guess it's a bit like Inception.
Okay, sure.
Here's a thing that's unrelated to heisting, but what if we did it as a heist?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. Heists are
very
fun.
cool.
They have lots of tension.
Heists are fun as.
Anything else you want to tell me
Watch
about
How to
this?
Blow Up a Pipeline. Great heist. Again, heist film, not really about stealing anything. Except money from big oil. Good stuff. No, I feel like that's... Sometimes, I'm going back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm reading like a young adult dystopian fiction. But then one of the Allomancy scenes will happen. I'm like, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever read. So
you don't think young adult, fiction books, dystopian fiction books...
They can be great. I read a bunch of them.
You don't think they could be the greatest thing you've ever read?
Probably not.
Why?
Some of them are great.
That's a very restrictive viewpoint.
Yeah, I feel like they lack a certain element of nuance or subtext that I lack in the best. Like, I'm talking about, great authors like Margaret Atwood and Barbara Kingsolver and stuff.
I would say that Handmaid's Tale could be considered
Young
a
adult
young adult
fiction.
dystopian fiction.
Yeah,
Makes you think, doesn't it?
it does make you think. But could the Testaments be called young adult dystopian
I don't know, I haven't
fiction?
read it.
You should read it.
I
enjoyed it
I haven't read
more
any
than
of the
Handmaid's
Bible. But anything else you want to say?
Nah, it's great.
Great, excellent. Who would you do you regret starting it?
No. Is that the new question?
That's a new question.
Hey, do you hate yourself and regret starting this and
Yeah.
want your time back?
Yeah.
No. It's good.
Who would you recommend it to start? Tell me.
If you're interested in... This is an obscure one. But if you're interested in Dune, maybe try this. Because it has some similar deconstruction of the kind of hero's journey, I guess. Yeah. There we go. I said it.
Cool.
Cool.
I like that. All right. Do you want to hear about my starter?
I would love to hear.
I wrote down a bunch of things that could be my starter. I have
Do you
two
want a
options.
drum roll?
I'm gonna give you options.
Me options?
You options.
Are you going to do what I did last week, promise options and then forget about it?
No,
Okay,
I'm gonna
good,
give you actual
good.
options. So I have a board game that I've recently played.
Oh, you're doing it in a non-specific way. Great.
It's very, very recent, very fresh in my mind, means I'll be able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also me talking about some of my trip in America,
Mm-hmm.
doing a thing I've never done before. And so you haven't heard about a lot of my trips, so
Yeah,
this
it's
will
true.
be a bit of a debrief for you as well.
Yeah.
What would you like? One's more of an experience, one's, a board game that I've recently done. I'll probably forget to talk about the other one of these
Yeah, I know. The pressure's intense, yeah.
in future episodes. So,
I would actually like to hear about your trip. I knew you'd be disappointed with that.
fine.
Do the board game if you want.
No, it's fine.
I haven't really heard... I've heard 3 stories about your trip.
Okay, let me tell you about my trip.
Great.
Let me talk about my road trip around the Midwest.
Country roads, take me home.
Cool.
What does the Midwest encapsulate? I don't know. I'm just hoping that's correct. Tell me where's the Midwest?
So you've got New York on this side.
This is an audio medium, Reuben. Which side's this side?
I'm pointing to my right, as in east.
Okay, yep.
And then you've got, LA on the other side, right?
Yep.
And so the Midwest is kind of that middle bit in between those two, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not a
kind of.
mid-east.
All right, let me tell you where the Midwest is.
You're going to tell me that Kuwait is sitting just to the left of New York?
And you know what else I'm going to tell you?
What?
The Midwest is wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's the Midwest?
The Midwest?
The middle of the West, right? Were you in the Southwest?
So I was in the West,
Oh.
the west side of America, but apparently the Midwest is everything west of West Virginia. So
if
that
you
includes
were- wait,
Ohio,
okay.
Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Are those what do they call flyover states?
I don't know.
Those sound like places where farming happens and not much else. I'm so sorry to everyone who lives there.
What is west of the
You know what?
Midwest in the USA? Stall for time.
No. I've got a better thing to do while you search. But don't worry, I'll buy you some time. Because do you know what this makes your start at it?
What?
You're doing a start at it, right? This
Yeah.
sounds awfully like you finished it.
This is... Oh. Shit. Alright, so we have an issue here. I'm really glad that. Damn. All right. Do you want me to tell you what I've started?
Please. You almost got away with that.
I know. I'm so focused on. The thing is, my list here isn't ordered as in started or finished. It's just a big list of things.
So give me a choice between two other things. I guess you could maybe pass off the board game as started playing. We've done that before.
Yeah, no. Okay, I have two things. I have a board game, and I have a video game, or I have a book.
Do the board game.
I'll tell you the board game.
Tell me about the board
Reuben,
game.
let me tell you what my starter is.
Please do.
I really screwed that up, didn't I?
We've never done that before.
We've never done that before.
Honestly, I'm shook.
I'm shocked. You're shook.
But at least we're shaken, not stirred. I had a great joke about you're going to do that for your finished it, right?
Who's to say? I might change it halfway through. You might have made a choice and then I removed that choice from you.
better not.
My starter is the board game Fit to Print.
Cool. Tell us about it.
I'll tell you about it. It's a cute little board game.
Is it a rude game with things that are not fit to print?
No, it's a nice game with things that are
thought it
fit
might
to
be a
print.
trick.
I'm gonna tell you about who
So you're going to
designed
show
it.
you a picture. I was like, it does nothing for me.
It was a Kickstarter game. It's made by Flat Out Games. It is a game where you play as little animal reporters. Kind of the art style kind of looks a bit Fantastic Mr. Foxy.
Like Root.
Yes, kind of like Root,
Yeah.
actually. And you play as a journalist for a local newspaper. And your job is to find articles and photos and ads to put in your newspaper spread, gather them, and then lay out a newspaper and print it. So the game is sectioned into two sections. The first section is gathering articles and photos, as I just said. So these are all on tiles, and some of them will be, it's all grid based, so they'll either be like 3x1 or 2x4 or 4x4, so they
Like
really range in
Tetris
size.
vibe.
Yeah. Except no like L-shaped things.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my next question.
No L-shaped things.
Sometimes
No,
there's an L-shaped article in the newspaper, though.
sometimes there is. There's not in this newspaper though. So get that out of your mind, okay?
It's going to ruin the immersion.
So,
It's gonna pull me right out of it.
They're all rectangular or square shaped.
Yeah.
And they're all face down in the center of the table. So there's a big pile of articles. You don't know if they're articles or photos or ads. But you can see the orientation of them. So on the back of them they'll have basically just like scribbled text. You know that indistinguishable scribbled text just in a light color. Formatted in the orientation of
Okay.
like
Like if it's a rectangle, you've got to know if it's portrait or landscape.
exactly. And what you've got to do in the first round is you've got this like 3D desk that you actually make, you put together. It's just from folded like card, and they're all really cute. They all have different designs on them. You've got to grab a tile, bring it to your desk. You can only grab a tile with one hand. You can only have one at a time. Bring it to your desk, flip it over, see what it is, see if you want
Like chess.
Yeah.
Like you got to grab it with one hand and touch the clock with the same hand.
And yep. Then
Touch take.
Touch take. You flip it over, you see what it is. If you want to keep it, like if you want to put it on your newspaper spread, then you put it on your desk and you go for another one. As soon as it's on your desk, it is locked in. So then you go for another one, do the same thing. If you don't want it, you put it back on the pile face up so all the other players can see what it is.
And you're taking turns, yeah? So like
No. So everyone's doing this at the same time.
So is it a scramble?
Yeah, it is a bit. You're kind of going quick, but you're not like... I was just playing it with one other person, so it wasn't... I was playing it with a friend from Heather's, Esther. So we were playing together, and she... Like, her and I, we weren't really... it wasn't like we were scrambling over the same pieces.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pieces there. So each round goes for 4 minutes, and the rounds aren't just picking the articles. They are finding the articles and photos and whatever that you want to use on your paper, and then saying out loud layout, and then going to the layout section. So you have this big rectangle, it's a grid, where you have to place all the tiles that you've collected. Once you've said layout, you can no longer grab any more.
Okay.
So you hope that you've gotten enough to fill out that space and leave a minimal amount of white space, but you also hope that you haven't gotten too much that
Do you lose points?
you lose points. You have to fit everything within the bounds, but you cannot have you can't have anything out of the bounds. But you might have some left over, so those stay on your desk. And if you have any on your desk, you lose points for that round, for however many you have on your desk, but you have to keep those to use in the next round. So each round... Old news. It starts as a Friday paper, so it's a smaller spread, and then Saturday, which is increased by one square on two of the sides. And then you flip the newspaper spread over, and then you have a Sunday paper, which is really big. So each time you have to use more and more space.
Newspapers.
It's newspapers.
What an idea.
Yeah, and so there are 3 types of articles. There's sports, there's business, and then there's, I don't know, I think it's leisure or something, or entertainment. And so those are 3 different colours, pink, blue, and green. And so you cannot have 2 pink articles touching, or 2 blue articles touching, or 2 green articles. You also can't have 2 photos touching. You also can't have 2...
Oh, that would look terrible. Imagine if newspapers had photos touching.
It would be disgusting. And you also can't have 2 advertisements touching. So, but you... And the way the points work...
And this is timed.
Yes, this is all timed. So
Honestly,
you have
that's
to do
good,
all of this within 4 minutes is the average. So collecting all
like
your
a
articles...
Calico, I will take 15 minutes to put a
so
block down.
long. So long. So it's kind of fun and fast-paced, and it actually isn't as stressful because you're only doing one thing at a time, so there's not a whole lot of stuff to think about. But the articles are worth different amounts of points depending on how big they are, like 1 or 2 points. And then the photos are worth 1 or 2 points, but the photos, the way you earn those points, you don't just earn points for those being put down, but you earn points for those being next to related articles.
Cool.
So you'll have a photo that says, I want to be next to a business article, or a photo that says, I want to be next to a happy article. So articles also have a positive or negative rating.
Is that little icon on the articles themselves?
Yes, So it'll give you like 1 or 2 happy or sad faces.
And are they real text? Or like just the headline is text?
I think the headlines are real text. I cannot remember because I don't think I ever looked at them.
You were just like symbols, tell me the symbols. But then the photos are pictures and whatever.
Yeah, the photos are pictures. So like there's like a crying echidna for, and it's like, oh, put me next to a sad thing because it's related to whatever sad article there is.
Wall Street crashes! Crying echidna.
Crying echidna.
Bonus points, they make sense.
Yeah.
Put them together.
So you want to keep it pretty even within happy and sad articles.
Oh, damn.
So if you have like 5 sad faces on your newspaper, you want to have at least 5 happy faces.
That's a cool mechanic, but it should be you want to have maximum sad faces.
You want maximum sad?
I feel like that's what newspapers are designed to do.
Oh, okay. See, I'd want maximum happy.
Or maybe they should be, you have to have at least 1 happy face, but then you want maximum sad.
Yeah.
Or you could make a meta commentary where the rule is still that you should have as close to a ratio as you can. You lose points if you don't. But in the mix of articles, it's mostly bad.
Wait, so you mean you want it mostly...
Like to be a commentary on like how everything is terrible, I guess?
Yeah. Well, this is in a nice animal...
I guess you could
happy
incentivize
land.
bad stories but put an even mix in the middle so people like picking up happy stories and be like, nah.
Well, and maybe sad stories are worth more.
Yeah.
Points-wise,
Yeah,
which could be true, I don't know. So for every difference, just say you have a 1, just say you have 5 sad and 4 happy, that's negative 1 point at the end of that round.
Does that scale, or is it, if I had 1 happy, 4 sad, that's negative 4?
It's negative 4.
That's still pretty bad.
Yeah. What other...
That's good. So you're trying to think through all that, but you can't actually put any of them down until you say layout, and then you switch into the solo.
Yes.
Well, no, this sounds great.
And it really...
can we get this? Is this around? Can we...
I reckon we should get this. Yeah. It really itches my design brain itch. Like while doing...
Even though it's so rulesy.
Yeah, but while doing, I don't know, like UI design, whether for mobile applications or websites, is all about fitting blocks within kind of a grid space, and you want to have a good mesh of photos and text, and you don't want it to be too happy or sad, and you don't want... like you can't have 2 photos next to each other or else it'll look awkward. So it really is just like, it's really satisfying for me.
Yeah, right.
A really, really satisfying game to play. Yeah, and there are so many, like, there are quite a few rules to this. When Esther and I unpacked it, we were like, wow, this is a lot. We actually played 2 rounds of it, did a Friday and Saturday, didn't play with all the rules because we didn't get all the... You know how you're first playing a game?
Sometimes you want to just start and then they make... You almost discover them through them. Like, wait, can I do that? Or like, I shouldn't be able to do that. And then you're like, oh, can't.
Yes, yeah. So it was like that, and then we had to stop, have lunch or something, and then had to do other things, and then we came back, we were like, oh, we should play that game again. And then we played all 3 rounds. And the first time we played on 5 minutes, so you could do however long you kind of want. It says 3 minutes for
That's a nice
intensity.
Like, timing to keep the game moving, but why be strict about the exact amount?
Yeah. They did say it's like 3 minutes for hard, 4 minutes for normal, 5 for easy, and then it also had an asterisk saying if you don't want to have a limit and it's too much, just don't have a limit or just set it to whatever, which is good. I like that. Yeah, it is a good way of like. Yeah. It's a cool way of difficulty within a game. Yeah, so we played it all, and by the time we got it all, like it all finally kind of clicked. I think there is maybe still a couple of things a couple of rules or a couple of mechanics who are missing on. You also have these centerpiece tiles that you start each round with, and they will apply different rules to you. So you might start off with the centerpiece. You get a new centerpiece tile each round.
Like a party leader in Here to Slay kind of thing?
I have not played Here to Slay, so I don't know.
I feel like you must have.
Maybe I have. I can't remember. But it's like, okay, you get 1 extra point for every business tile that you put down. Cool. So it's an extra goal for yourself. Yeah. And whoever finishes their newspaper first gets the first choice for the centerpiece tile. So you each player randomly gets a starting centerpiece tile for Friday, and then whoever finishes first on Friday gets the first choice of like 3 new starter tiles.
That's so cool and thematic.
Yeah. It really is, like, the theme works so well. Yeah. It makes you really feel like you are like a little newspaper fox.
Makes you feel like a typewriter assistant.
Yeah. Being like, oh, okay, let me discover the new stories. Do I want to print this story? No, I don't want to print this story. It doesn't fit into what my newspaper's about. Like, it doesn't have the right stuff that what my goal is, or like, no, look, this one's good and it would probably fit in the space, but it's a sad article and I need 2 more happy articles.
Volcanoes and slavery, they offset nicely. One's happy, one's sad.
One's happy, one's sad.
They're of equal weight.
Excellent. I can put those right next to each other. So some of the starting articles also say, oh, you're allowed to put 2 photos next to each other. Yeah.
So it's like not extra points, but it frees you up to do.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. Some of them is like, 1 extra point for every sports article above the fold line. So there's a fold line in the middle of the newspaper.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's also just how it folds and fits in within the box. Like,
so you've already got one there, so you might as well make it a mechanic.
Yeah, which is really cool. And also, you choose a journalist at the start of the game. So each player has their own, like, buff.
So that's like a party leader in Here to Slay.
Sure. Yeah.
You played someone with the little animals where you roll dice to see if they're successful. There's 3 monsters in the middle.
Oh, yeah, I hated that game. I probably just blocked it out. I was completely off board for that one.
Off board?
Yeah, I was drowning. It was weird that Buckleford did a board game thing in their cinema, considering a large percentage of that cinema is water.
I know. I mean, the movie is game night, and even if they can't renovate the whole place, like, they still want that Buckleford, like, thematic experience.
Yeah.
But I agree, like, that's why you had to play Here to Slay, because the only thing's small enough to fit on some boards.
And, like, we lost at least 4 cards and, like, 2 dice.
Yeah.
That pool
and
is
7
deep.
people.
Yeah, like, that pool is deep, because they wanted to make it, like, ocean.
Yeah, and it's really cold.
It's really cold.
So cold.
I reckon they have just, like, I don't know, can you put fridges underwater? They did whatever they did. They made the water terribly cold.
You can heat water.
You can. Can you?
I reckon you can cool water.
I've never seen it. Anyways,
that's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it really makes you feel like a little animal journalist. So there's a bear and a fox and a rabbit.
There's a bear.
There's a bear.
So there's a bear with a newspaper now.
Yes.
Oh my god, there's so many bears.
This is not a bear within our minds, though.
Oh, this one's not in our minds. This one's real?
Yeah.
Oh, but is it nice? Nice and cute bear?
It's a pretty stocky bear.
Stocky.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it'd eat you. It looks like it would bore you to death.
Oh, that got worse.
Yeah.
It's going to take all my elbows and eat them.
It's going to take all your elbows. I'm so sorry. But it's a pretty good game.
So
I reckon we should get it.
Finish playing Fit to Print?
I'm like, no, this is my start at it.
Yeah, are you going to...
Am I going to start? I've started.
Should you start it?
Should someone start it?
Well, that's the second question.
Yes.
Yes, who should play Fit to Print?
Who should play Fit to Print? I think casual gamers, like board gamers who are used to, like a Scrabble. It does feel kind of like a Scrabble where you get new things and you have to place them in the right
I was thinking that.
spots within a grid. I think it works pretty well for a beginner gamer, and it's also a nice sort of relaxing middle ground for a more intense board gamer. I think that it for a beginner gamer will take a bit of time to get into the rules. There is quite a few mechanics in it. But it all makes sense once you actually get there.
You can start playing and learn lessons on the fly, or important to learn some rules first?
Important to learn some rules
first. So have
first.
someone who knows to teach you.
Yeah, and I was trying to flick through the rules and get like it took me a while to like get how it worked.
So if someone's choosing between Azul, Calico, and Fit to Print, choose this one because it's simpler, or choose
Azul's the simplest. I'd go with Azul, and then I think Calico's all right. I don't know. Calico's fine.
Calico's very hard.
I think, to
do well at. It's not hard to pick up.
This one's better and feels more, even if you don't do well at it, and like, damn, I didn't get all my stuff fit here. It's still satisfying. You've collected these things, you've placed them all together.
Or Jenga, that's the other one.
Or Jenga.
I don't know, it feels similar.
Yeah.
Putting rectangles together or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I guess. The box is really pretty as well. That's what attracted us to it. We were looking at a big swath of board games, like 170, 200 or something, like a lot. And that it really stood out. It really, really stood out. It's a gorgeous box. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous game. I absolutely recommend starting it. I think it's a really, really fun time. It's also cute. I think it would appeal to a lot of people just because of the art style as well. Like it's a really cute game.
People are like, oh, this is nice.
This is nice.
This is nice and cute.
Yeah, and it's not like an aggressive game. It's not like a take that sort of thing.
Like Root, where people are like, oh, this is nice and cute. Wait, I have to run a rebellion where I get stomped for like 80 minutes and then win at the end somehow?
Yep. Yeah. Root is complicated.
You're a cute mouse.
You're a cute mouse.
I don't know if that's going to get me over the line for 80 minutes of being stomped.
But yeah, that's my start at it.
Cool.
Tell me about your Finished It.
I will tell you about my Finished It, which is season 1 of Gen V.
Got nothing left to prove. You know you're beautiful when they call you vulgar.
Ooh, so now you're watching things
Jeff
without
Bezos
me.
Money.
You paid Jeff Bezos.
Unfortunately, I paid Jeff Bezos.
Reuben.
You weren't going to pirate it. You were overseas.
Yes, I would have.
You were overseas.
I literally would have pirated it and put it on a Google Drive. And I can say this because I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I would. It's not a crime saying I would have done something. I think. I don't really know how that works legally. But I would have pirated it and got it. That's what I may or may not have done for The Boys for you.
You did do that for the...
Yeah, for The Boys.
Yeah, you did. For season 1 of The Boys. And then I paid Jeff Bezos for 2 seasons of The Boys.
Don't pay Jeff Bezos any money.
That's
the first rule of Jeff Bezos.
We're all so bad at it. All we do is give him money.
He literally just spent his money shooting up into space or whatever. When you can actively see what the people that you're giving money to, what they're spending their money.
I don't think about it. I just watch my trains and I don't think about it.
Well, clearly you don't. You also watch Gen V.
I also watch Gen V and don't think about it.
Do you pay the people who are making the train content?
No, because, I didn't see all those Patreon episodes that you kept talking about. But you pay Andrew Tate, so I feel like...
I don't pay Andrew Tate anything.
You pay Andrew Tate for membership of his Patreon.
For those...
We established this.
For those train videos specifically, yes.
Not only for the train videos, but you pay him for all the stuff that he makes.
I don't like
you engage with all of it.
Yeah, well, you do that for Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
which
I know,
is worse.
and I feel bad about it. But do you feel bad about it?
Probably Andrew Tate, since he does sex trafficking or whatever.
Probably that one is worse. But also,
who's to say
everyone's bad.
But
Jeff Bezos doesn't. No one's to say. We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know. Tell us about this show about horrible people.
Oh, there's so many horrible people in it.
Great.
So good.
What is
You familiar with The Boys? And how you just metaphor?
the concept of boys?
You familiar with Boys?
I'm
We're
confused.
doing a Barbie episode, second Barbie episode.
Familiar with boys? Yeah, I've known them.
You like superhero stories that use metaphor to tell their story?
That's most superhero. Have you watched The Men before? Yeah. Why don't you talk about... Yeah.
I decided, halfway through watching Gen V Season 1, that I have 3 favourite pieces of superhero content.
Oh, let's go!
It's The Goods Men.
Which one? Which is
No,
men?
Zmen as a plural.
Okay.
I was going to say Goodsmen's, because that's a silly word.
Okay.
The Goodsmen's, Watchmen. Don't say anything.
Continue.
Counting on my fingers, I'm allowed to bump the table for counting on my fingers.
Fine. That's the one rule.
God, starting again.
We have a list of podcast rules here. Number 1, Reuben's allowed to bump the table if he's counting on his fingers. Number 2,
Sequence is banned in this house. That's unrelated, but it just has to go on every rule list that goes up in our house.
Number 3, remember every 2 weeks to pay the council some money so that we can keep a boundary of silence around our podcast while
Oh,
we're
that's
podcasting.
coming up this week.
Those are our 3. We probably have more, but we've
Nah,
forgotten
everything
them.
else is convention. Those are the only 3 solid rules.
Everything else is kind of smudged
Anyway.
on the whiteboard. Go.
Can't be that important if it got rubbed out.
Exactly.
That one was like, it says don't pay Jeff Bezos or anything. Let me just... Okay. No, I can't see what it says anymore, so I'm fine. The Goodsmen's.
Go. Start.
Watchmen.
Joe, you can't bump the table intentionally. That's going to actually... It's
Okay,
going to
well,
help for
stop bumping
editing.
the table intentionally. And The Boys Universe. They're my favourites.
So what was the second one?
Watchmen.
The MCU?
No.
The new MCU movies?
No, it's not on there.
Oh my god.
No, it's not there.
Doctor Strange
It's not
Multiverse of
there and
Madness
they're
specifically.
bad.
Alright. Wait, what was the
What was
second
I
one?
saying?
Watchmen, yeah.
Watchmen.
The Zack Snyder Watchmen movie.
Are 3 of them named after men? Yes. All 3 of my things are named after men. That's terrible.
Watchmen.
Watchmen, and The Boys.
Interesting.
But that's not why. That's an unrelated fact. Oh dear.
God, this isn't looking good
Oh,
for
that's
you.
so bad. I paid Jeff Bezos and I'm watching men content.
This is really
I
concerning.
don't know where to go from there. It's just good. I don't know how to talk about it without spoilers, but like this one's even more focused on
Tell
young
me what it's
people.
about. Tell me about what The Boys
Okay.
was, and then tell me about what
I'm
this
going
one
to tell you
is.
about what The Boys was. You've watched The Boys.
Okay, well, yeah, but the people listening maybe haven't watched The Boys.
The Boys-
So it's The Boys, and then it's the younger boy. Do you have a word for younger, like male children, like younger than boys? Like we don't have a
Kids.
gendered word for like
Maybe-
toddlers.
That's a good thing. Let's not make one.
I think we should make one. Let's see one. So we have boys and men. We have
Boilets?
guys, boilets, boilets. Yeah, let's do boilets. I'm not going to be able to come up with anything better than that. So okay, tell us about The Boys and then tell us about
Crab
the
and Goyle
boilets.
used to be boilets and goilets. I don't know. Okay, that's enough of this. Am I telling you about The Boys, original Boys? There's been like
Yes.
3 seasons of that.
Yeah, just tell us what the concept of it.
Superheroes, but they're all owned by a company.
Sorry, I was,
You weren't making a list.
I was making a list on my.
Look what it says right here on this rule.
I was making a list.
You better be making a list and checking it twice.
Yeah, I was
Good.
doing a list of all the things you said so far. You
Yep.
still haven't said a single thing about
Well,
The
I
Boys.
was in the middle of saying a thing, but you interrupted me.
That's why I was doing. That was why I was
Oh,
putting
you
one
are
thing
halfway
down.
through, but all right, great.
Go.
Superheroes, but they're all owned by a company.
Mm-hmm.
I would describe the premise of The Boys as what if superheroes were in real life, but actually not just what Zack Snyder wants to film.
Yeah.
Like, it's just corporate and horrible, and they're doing bad things, and the company Vought is covering it up, and they have like a news network and a school that they run, and they've just got their greasy little fingers in everywhere. And Giancarlo Esposito is doing his thing. He's the boss. It's just good.
It's kind of
It's
like
good and real and horrible.
it's kind of like Disney, but if Disney celebrities also had superpowers,
yeah,
and they were,
because it's all branding.
it's all trying to make sure that their numbers are up for their people,
Yeah.
like that the approval ratings of the superheroes are up, and once they're not, then they kick them out of the main
Yeah.
team. They've got like a main
reality
team.
TV show for who's going to be the next like person in the Seven.
Yes.
A big movie coming out called
Seven is
Dawn of the
basically-
Seven,
yeah.
which
is basically
feel like
Dawn
is
of Justice.
bullying Zack Snyder, right? It has to be.
Well, they said, now we have the director's cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love any movie that bullies Zack
Did
Snyder.
they specifically say this is the Zack Snyder director's cut? Because I think they might have.
No, I think the director is a made-up character.
Okay.
Because we see them briefly in The Boys.
Sure.
So this and Barbie. I told you we were doing a Barbie section. It's things that bully Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I love it. The 7 is basically the Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
You have Homelander,
In fact,
who's
yeah.
basically Superman.
Yeah,
You
Fly,
have
Laser Eyes.
Queen
Really
Maeve, who is... Wait, really hot? Is that what
no,
you
I was still talking
You were
about
saying Queen
Homelander.
Maeve was
Fly,
really hot?
I mean, Queen Maeve, sword, shield, really hot. I can keep going. The
Okay,
deep.
weird that you said that only about the woman.
I said it about
You really
Homelander.
only consume men media, and as soon as I name one woman, you're like, yeah, really
That
hot.
one. The Deep.
Yeah.
Fishman.
Fishman, basically Aquaman.
Not as hot as Aquaman.
That is now you're just doing it because you feel like you have to.
Translucent.
Translucent.
Invisible. I wouldn't know. Never seen him. I'm going to say really hot. I mean, he gets really hot when they blow him up from the inside. Boy spoilers, sorry. They stick dynamite up his bum. Is that what happens? That's my memory. I feel like that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Oh, it's also like The Boys is renowned for being like gory and always trying to outdo itself, which like I can take
Very
or leave,
hyper-violent.
but usually it's used in a good way.
Yeah. Then there's also
God, so-
who's that other? There's Lantern Light or like
Lamplighter?
Lamplighter who left.
Yeah.
Or was kicked out of the
The
7.
7 starts with like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And then quickly goes down to 5 of them when they kill Translucent.
Yeah, Lamplighter is basically Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And there's
A-Train.
A-Train,
Who's
who's-
basically the Flash.
who's the Flash.
Pretty hot.
yeah, really hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't counting to 7, but that feels like all the easy Justice League ripoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So that's what The Boys is. What is the Boylets?
There's Black Noir, which is Batman.
Oh yeah, there's Black Noir, who's Batman. What's Boylets?
Boylets is let's do a series set in the school where everyone wants to go to train to be in the 7.
Oh, like a university thing?
Like
or
university,
high school?
college.
Okay.
And it has 2 big like the 2 main departments are crime fighting, like the Lamplighter School of Crime Fighting,
Okay.
and like the Queen Maeve Performance Arts.
Oh.
Which is, I mean, initially funny, but then you think about it and you're like, well, those are the 2 things that superheroes need to do in this universe.
Yeah.
They need to fight crime sometimes. And learn how to act
Yes.
and present because everything is fake. Anyway, they got like a top 10 and like it's chosen by the board of directors on a rolling basis, so they have to like go to parties to schmooze up the directors or whatever. It's great.
Like dance parties where they go and they're like, wow, this isn't
Like
actually what
really
I thought it would be.
balls where ash is falling everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's okay, perfect. The ash is just from that one superhero.
Oh, yeah, it's just
Big ash.
Homelander's burning everyone.
Yeah.
Just lasering everyone above the school.
Yeah.
Like confetti.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
thing that he does.
He's getting real drunk, so he's just like lasering the
Chandelier.
roof, and then just it's ash is falling down. He's asking people for elbows.
There's a great video of Anthony Starr behind the scenes who plays Homelander so well. That's like the Superman ripoff.
He's
character.
Australian.
Terrifying. Yeah. Or New Zealand, I feel?
We're gonna claim him. He's Australian.
Great, he's Australian. You're so right. I don't know how. Forget whatever I said. He's going up in, like, he's going to do a fly down.
Yes.
And he's going, like, being lifted up by a crane.
Yeah.
And have you seen this?
I think I've seen this,
Have
yeah.
you seen this? And he's freaking out.
Yeah.
And you hear someone behind camera say, like, he normally only does the landing. He's terrified of heights.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Hates heights.
Yeah, he's a big flying Superman one. So
Yeah.
that's
So
funny.
good.
Yeah, he's going up there. and It's like, oh fuck. I hate this. Why do I do this?
Fuck me! Screw all of you! It's so good. But also, laid back and chill in a way that Homelander never is.
Yeah.
And also a Kiwi accent sneaking through somehow, which is weird. given
No,
he's
Australian accent. Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
sorry, you're right. They're the same.
No, they're not the same.
Oh, no?
Anthony Starr is
just
Australian.
Sorry.
New Zealanders don't have any celebrities,
You're right.
famously.
Name a New Zealand celebrity.
Oh, Melanie
Exactly.
Bracewell? No, Australian.
Australian.
Taika Waititi? Australian.
Oh,
Kurt-
careful with that shit.
Wait, who's that? Who's that other one?
Indigenous heritage.
Who's that other one? Yeah, he's Jewish. Who's that other one?
Not wrong.
What's that one who was
Russell
in Glad?
Crowe?
Yeah, Russell Crowe, New Zealander.
What?
Yeah.
You don't want him?
No, we don't want him.
We want him!
Do we?
He did the funny Greek accent in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, and he was good in The Nice Guys, but besides,
He's really good.
Yeah, but
He's a
is
really
he-
good actor.
is he a good person?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm gonna hedge my bets and say no. He's an old
Oh.
white guy. New Zealand can have him.
That's unfair.
Okay, fine. We'll take
Until
him.
it turns out he's done something horrible.
No,
and
he's
I
not-
also said what you said.
Okay. Well, what? We should go different.
Different?
You say he's
I
Australian.
reckon he's alright.
I say he's New Zealander.
I reckon he's Australian and good.
All right. You keep talking about the boilets
Are
while
you gonna Google Russell Crowe controversy?
No, I'm going to Google Russell Crowe cancelled.
Oh no. I'm gonna keep talking about the boilets. Do you want to talk about the powers that they have? Because I'm always like, surely they've run out of powers. There's no more nuclear powers. Guess what? There's more nuclear powers.
Tell me about them.
Great. One of them, blood powers. You can control your blood. Another one, you can shrink real small and grow real big. Now you might think, those are powers that we've seen before. But they're used as metaphors for horrible things that young people go through. If you think about it for a sec, you can probably figure out which metaphors. Jett's busy still Googling, so at home you'll just have to think about which metaphors.
Okay, sometimes it doesn't seem... why did I say sometimes? It doesn't seem like...
Nothing
Russell
yet.
Crowe's cancelled.
Yet.
All right.
Wait, which side am I on?
He's
ours.
ours.
Nothing. That's what I... Yeah.
He's ours.
Yeah.
He's ours. We'll take him.
We'll take him.
Once again, until
he does anything horrible.
And then that's...
Until Gladiator 2 releases and it turns out that he, killed someone.
Yeah, on set. Like Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, like Alec Baldwin, who's New Zealand.
Yeah, so what happened was, did someone give Russell Crowe a
loaded sword.
A loaded sword, and then he used it on someone and killed someone. It was like, oh, it wasn't me. It was that's not my fault. That's the PA's fault for giving me a loaded sword.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah?
Let's not talk about the Alec Baldwin situation.
No, we're not. We're talking about the Russell Crowe situation.
Yeah.
Using a loaded sword on someone.
Sproing. Yeah, like that.
That's in bad taste.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Continue talking about the boilets. Powers.
Okay, I mean, I don't know how explicit you want to get because a lot of people listen to this podcast and this is fairly like serious thematically. But I'm just going to say one of them has powers that require them to use their own blood, and one of them uses eating powers to get bigger and small. I feel like that's enough.
Eating powers to get bigger and smaller.
Yeah, it's horrible. Think of the worst possible way that could manifest.
Cannibalism?
No. Cannibalism's fine. Also, you've got a spare shoulder.
Shoulders now. We're on shoulders.
Well, you can't use the arm if you give me the elbow. Do you want to start down the other end? Because, like, fish fingers, human fingers, muscle snack. Apparently, you can eat your own finger as easily as snapping a carrot, but our brain stops us. Have you heard this fact that may or may not be real?
Yes, no, I did hear this. That's why when you, I heard this the other day. When someone's like unconscious or
Don't stick your fingers in there.
or you need them to throw up, you stick their own fingers in their own mouth, which I think is
Terrible.
absolutely disgusting.
Anyway, you've now gotten closer to the metaphor.
Just imagine someone like using someone else's hand while they're unconscious to have them finger their own mouth.
I've seen that scene.
What do you mean that scene?
I've seen that happen.
In real life?
In boilets.
In boilets?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, so have a think about what the implications of that are.
Okay. Is someone jumping in their own stuff to be able to...
No.
Well, okay, whatever. I guess I'll have to watch boilets.
You don't have to watch boilets.
Okay.
Are there cameos from Boys Cast? Yes. Do they overwhelm the story? No, they're used subtly and nicely.
Nice. Is A-Train coming in for a gym session?
I don't know, you'd go too fast, I wouldn't see him.
Oh, true. But he's got that heart condition or whatever that keeps him slow.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So much of superhero stories is just, oh my god, we made them too good. Just give them a potion or give them a zap or knock them out for a bit.
Oh no, we've got a big evil's men baddie. Guess we got to make sure
Anyway.
Xavier's like concussed or just
He can walk, but he can't use his powers.
Yeah, his powers are gone, I guess. So we
Oh,
can't
no.
have him stop anyone. Love it.
Good movie.
Good movie. Continue. Boilets.
I don't know. It's just like a short one to say you should watch Boilets. It's
All right.
really good.
I've been meaning to watch it. Just haven't had enough time to not give my money to Jeff
It
Bezos.
still does the thing of like cliffhanger endings, and I'm like, you don't need this. You're telling such good isolated one episode stories. Just give me that, and I'm totally satisfied.
Cliffhanger endings at the end of the episodes or at the end
Episodes.
of the season?
No, season wraps up nicely.
Okay,
The
cool.
episodes.
I'm
Just
happy
like,
with a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, I don't care.
Do
But
they
just,
come
like,
out week by
trust
week?
your yes, but I just did they?
I don't know.
I know Invincible's coming out week by week. I don't know. I just wait. I never watch anything week by week anymore.
No.
No.
Just
no
wait till it's
passion
done.
for it. Yeah.
Do what I did.
What's that?
Watch Boba Fett that way, where you wait until
Wait
it's
until it
done
comes out and
and
then
then don't
watch
watch any of it.
But at least then
And
you find
what-
out that it's bad.
Yeah, but then you go back and watch a couple of episodes
Did you?
of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
to
to
pre-
prep for the Mandalorian season 3,
and then
which
just
you
never
don't
watch season 3. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Let's.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Just thinking about men and boys all the time. Sorry. What else is there to say? It's just a group of like 4 or 5 young people, and they've all got an interesting relationship with each other, and they argue about. I love people.
Okay, here's a question.
Boys have such good people.
We have Jack Quaid in the Boys, who's sort of our point of view character. Doesn't have powers. He's on a bit of a vengeance quest because his girlfriend was murdered by one of the superheroes.
If you know.
Then it's a terrible scene. So that's sort of our entry point into the Boys. How
Great
is
question.
this without having that point of view human character, or does it?
We have a point of view character, but they are a soup.
Okay.
They're just a big bowl of soup.
The power is, ooh, yum yum drinkable. That's how the person who gets their eating powers gets.
Yep.
They just start
They're
drinking the soup
twins and
first.
they were born together, and one of their powers is big and small, and the other one is soup. Just become soup.
It's like how
They have to carefully position themselves above a bowl or other vegetable, otherwise they just start flowing everywhere. Someone has to like mop them up, put them back in a bucket.
So it's like how twins sometimes in the womb one absorbs the other
Yeah.
one. This is
But just
post
do
birth.
it, yeah, forever.
One needs to absorb
Just
the other.
repeating trauma. I feel like there should be a boys character who's this.
Love it. Okay, big soup. So soup is our main character.
Yeah, and you see the first scene. You know, one of the best scenes in Main Boys is the aeroplane scene.
Yes.
Because it's terrible and harrowing.
Yeah.
First scene you showed me.
Yeah.
So even though it's not the first scene of the series, first scene I saw.
Yeah.
First scene I saw of Boylets, harrowing, terrible.
Cool. Excellent.
Do you want me to spoil the? Oh,
Don't spoil anything.
no, I
I'm
won't
gonna
spoil
watch it.
It's really good.
All right.
It's really good.
Is it worth finishing?
Oh yeah.
Is it worth? Who would you recommend this to?
You seen The Boys? Watch this. You haven't seen The Boys? Watch The Boys first. No, you could start here, but like,
Why would you?
why would you? The Boys is so good.
Yeah. Would you? What? How would you get someone to watch The Boys?
Showing the airplane scene.
Okay. Is it that gruesome? So The Boys is very gruesome. It is very.
The airplane scene isn't gruesome in the sense of what's on screen is like there's lots of blood or whatever.
Yeah.
But it speaks to everything that the series is about.
Yeah.
In the worst possible ways.
Yeah. So if you're
But
interested,
also, I don't know. Happy as I was that you showed me that scene because I probably wouldn't have watched The Boys otherwise. Just trust us.
Trust us
Start
and
at the
watch it.
start of The Boys.
Also, if you're going to watch The Boys,
Yeah.
email in to stinishedit@gmail.com.
That's the one.
Say, hey, I want to watch The Boys. Jett, get me The Boys somehow. And I will lend you my DVD copy, wink, wink,
Wink,
of
wink.
The Boys.
Wink.
Wink, wink, so you can watch it, wink, wink.
Also, if you want Fleabag, I feel like we still have that.
Wink, on DVD, wink.
Wink.
Yeah. Don't support Amazon. Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You done?
Yeah. You're gonna hate my coming up.
Oh no. Oh no. Do you wanna hear about my finished it?
I would love to hear about you finished it.
Now my finished it is
Wait. Can I? Because this never comes up, right? We always say our own line. But can I say your line for your finished it? Just as an experiment, an innovation on the form?
yeah.
Jett's coming up is their West Side Story.
I like to be in America. Okay, by me in America. Everything free in America.
Wow.
I've been waiting 40 minutes to make that joke.
That was really good, actually.
Thank you.
That was really good. It's west and southwest, so
Yeah.
Because I drove around Colorado, New Mexico, briefly Arizona,
Briefly Arizona.
and Utah in my long road trip. It's the first road trip I've done on my own. Also, kind of my first time properly in the US by my own as well. So that was an interesting experience. Basically, I was over in the US recently, as you would have known if you listened to the last episode.
Because we missed 1 week. It was 2 weeks. 1 week.
I was in Colorado. Went to had a real college experience over there.
Oh, yeah. Check the previous episode.
And then I decided to go on a road trip.
Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Sorry, I sometimes have to
Go
iterate.
Rams.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that what they said?
I don't know. They have a whole fight song.
Yeah.
I don't know it. My uncle tried to teach me it. I was
Before
like,
you
cool, I
read
don't-
it?
No,
Or after?
while the fight song
What?
was happening.
Sing along, Rammy Dammy, sing along. Should we just sing it to you?
Damn, woohoo!
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks, Kramer.
Shout out to Kevin for that one. But I had 5 days, and I had a car, and I was like, where am I going to go? I had a couple of
Was
plans.
it one state per day? Because it was 5 states, wasn't it? 4 states.
I was in 4 states. It wasn't...
Which state did you stay for 2 days?
Oh,
Colorado?
technically. No, yeah. I'll tell you in a bit once I go on my trip. So I was initially going to go into the Midwest. I was going to go Nebraska, Kansas, Montana, maybe. And then South Dakota. Then everyone said, don't go there. They're boring farmlands. And I said, yeah, if I drive far enough, I could get to Chicago. And everyone said it's going to be boring doing that. Like getting there. So I was like, fine. Then I was thinking, I could go up to the top of Colorado into Wyoming, go see Yellowstone National Park and Jackson as well. And
Your family said, go see some sand instead.
Yeah,
some big sand.
The sand was an addition because the Yellowstone was closed because it's snowing. So all the roads were closed.
Was it snowing ash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the volcano there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The volcano that when it erupts, everyone dies, apparently.
Yeah.
You know that one? You know that? You don't know that?
Yellowstone?
Yeah, the big Yellowstone volcano. It's like whenever it erupts, it might erupt at any point in time. And when it does, it's going to do a big cloud that'll cover the world. Cloud that covers the world and everyone will die.
We've had big clouds that cover the world of volcanic ash before.
Yeah,
we had Krakatoa. That was like caused multiple winters all over the world.
Yeah.
And then we had that Iceland one that stopped a few planes or whatever.
Yeah, and then we had that one that was like
honestly,
part of the final
we could use
empire.
a little bit of shade cover right now.
Reuben, we don't need another big world epidemic
If one's a happy face and one's a sad face, they balance out, all right?
What's a happy face?
Well, a happy face in this case is -1 degree Celsius on average.
Okay.
And the sad face is like
covering
plus
a
a degree. No. The ash is going to cool the earth down.
Okay.
It's everything else that we're putting into the atmosphere that's heating it up.
Oh, you're saying it's going to fix global warming?
Yes!
You think putting ash into the air and making sure there's no sunlight for not just including humans, but animals and plants, nothing gets sunlight.
What do you need them for?
You think that's going to be a
Final
good thing
Empire's
for
been
the earth?
around for 1,000 years, no greenery. I feel like I made this explicit.
That's a very good point. It has plenty of brannery, though.
Yeah.
All that shit in the streets.
Yeah.
So,
At least it's covered by the ash.
I started in
It's a whole ecosystem.
I started in Fort Collins. So I was planning this out. I was like,
Fort
cool.
Collins.
There were a couple of places I wanted
Did
to
they
go.
do a colonialism there? I feel like every place in America that's named Fort Blank is probably terrible.
I think it was a fort
So they're all New Zealanders.
It was because it was a fort during the Civil War.
Okay.
I think that's why there are a lot of fort towns.
So it's in the south.
No, it's in the north.
In the north.
I hope.
How far north are you?
Colorado's
Oh, that's
kind
really
of
high.
just the center.
Yeah, America doesn't look how I think it does.
No. So started at Fort Collins because that's where my family is. Then went south. I was heading towards Taos, New Mexico, to the Taos Pueblo there. That is a Native American Pueblo that's been there since I want to say like 1300, and people have been living there. Like the Native American group there they've been living there consistently since then. So that's crazy long time. But on the way there, I found out there were sand dunes. Now, there are sand dunes in America, like probably in, I don't know, Arizona or something. You know, they have deserts. But these were sand dunes in the middle of Colorado, where there are the Rocky Mountains, snowy big Rocky Mountains.
And sand.
And, like, lots
I
of
hate
forests.
Sand. It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere.
Well, I like sand, and I thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've never seen sand dunes before. So I thought, well, cool. Like, full proper desert sand dunes, I'll go there. So I started driving down. It took me like 5 hours to get there. And I got there to the north side of this national park. It's called the Great Sand Dunes National Park. And the sun was about to set. I was like, great, I want to get there before sunset because I want to see these sand dunes, maybe hike up them. I got there and I got to the parking of the national park, and I could see the sand dunes, but they were like so far away.
South side.
Like 16 Ks away or something. It would have taken me like 4 hours to walk there or something. I don't know if that math ends up.
That checks out.
It was a long
It's up
time,
and down
and the
hills.
sun was setting. I went to the wrong entrance. I went to the north entrance,
damn it.
which is so far away, which you have to hike in to the national park, when I should have gone to the south entrance. So I had to do a big roundabout, and by the time I got to the national park, it was nighttime. I couldn't see the sand dunes. I couldn't see anything. So I got into this national park. Also, on this road trip, I was like, well, I'll probably stay at some motels. I'll probably, but I might sleep in my car. I got to this national park. No one was manning the, no one was stationed at the entry point where they have the boom gates.
Hope nothing bad happens.
It was just open with a
damn.
sign that said, come in. If you leave and then come back, you might be charged. I was like, okay. So
I guess I'll stay then.
I went in.
That's cool.
I found a
Wait,
parking
what season
lot.
was it over there?
It was late autumn.
Summer.
Late autumn.
Yes, we've just had oh my god.
Yeah.
Where does the time go?
So, what I found out on this trip is that late autumn is the best time to travel around the States because barely any tourists and barely any people, not even just tourists, just barely any people around. And national parks or most touristy places, it wasn't even that cold. It was, it got down to -2, but... And the tops were like, I don't know, 15 or so, but it was mostly hovering around 10 or 12, and that's not terrible.
Celsius?
Yeah, Celsius, especially if you're like hiking and walking around.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
not
got into every single national park for free. There was one of them that a person was there at the boom gates. So I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to have to pay. And it's like $20, which is like, I don't know, 36 Australian or whatever. Got up to the boom gates and they're like, hey, we're about to do a shift change, so just head on in. We've just reset the computer, so just go on in. I'm like, great. I didn't pay for a single national park. Also,
That's so good. Also, you shouldn't have to pay for national parks.
no,
Oh, I guess if it's for like upkeep.
It's
and
for
protection.
upkeep.
But also, the government should fund that.
yeah, so I went to the Great Sand Dunes. I woke up
Big
there.
parks.
Sun
16 Ks
went
to
up
the
at
sand dunes.
6:30. I woke up. I was right next to the sand dunes. I had no clue. I woke up and bam, big sand dunes there.
Bam!
I went to take a photo. Phone was flat.
Bam!
So I was like, shit, phone's flat. I really want to hike these sand dunes. So I was like, I was weighing it up. I was like, I'm alone out here. There was a massive sand dunes.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? It should be fine.
Fine.
I walked up there. It was quite cold in the morning, so I had like
Yeah.
a jumper and then a jacket on. I got like halfway up and I was like, oh, it's getting warm. Took it off. But it wasn't terribly, like, it didn't get really hot or anything. I ended up climbing up 2/3 of the sand dune. I was going to climb up to the very tippy top, but I was getting very exhausted. And walking on sand is hard enough. Climbing up sand, it's really interesting walking on sand dunes because just like the strategization that you have to do in your brain of like, okay, if I go down a steep hill bit, I will slip and fall down. So I need also
like
walking
shallow.
up is really hard, like walking up a steep bit.
Did you like tack back and forth?
Yeah, along the ridge lines, and sometimes there was a I don't know, shallow enough hill that I could make it up, but it was quite a trek, and you can't really stop halfway or you'll keep sliding.
Oh,
So I ended up getting up 2/3 of it and just sat and read my book up there.
cute.
While the sun
Sunny
rose.
side or shady side?
Right, it was at the top of one of the. It was at the top of one of the dunes. Just wasn't the tallest dune. So sunny and shady, but it wasn't. I ended up having to put my jacket back on, and I just sat there and read, and then saw some people coming up, and I'm like, thank goodness, because if I was to die up here, at least
someone would find me.
maybe.
2 out of 3 dunes is the right amount to read because the third book goes way off the rails.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. So I climbed that dune, and then I went back down. So much easier going down.
Interesting. I thought you might say it was worse somehow. I mean,
No.
you're moving the same direction as the sand, I guess,
Nah.
but like maybe it's more slippery or something. I don't know.
No, I got to go down those slippery bits, and that'd be
Whee!
kind of fine if
Should
I
have bought
fell.
a toboggan.
Yeah, well, people took like boards and
cardboard.
stuff to
Yeah, right.
like full
Like
I don't know,
boogie boards.
like boogie board style stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sand surfing.
There was this big cavernous gap though.
Cavernous gap?
It like in the
Like
in
a like a hole in the ground?
like no, well like,
Like
it was when I was at the top of the sand
Yeah.
dunes. And there was just this big, massive divot, and it was right down the edge of the ridge that I was climbing on. And I was like, if I slipped down there, I would die.
Yeah.
Like it's hundreds and hundreds. It's like more.
Hundreds of feet?
I was gonna say meters. It was
Yeah.
like 150 meters
Oh my
or something.
God.
Like it was.
Oh, imagine the seconds of falling.
Yeah.
You would know and not be able to do anything.
So I made sure not to do that. But I made it down and I was like, I hadn't had breakfast or water or anything. So I was like, geez, I really need some food. So I went and drove. After that, I left there. That was really cool. Got some food at just a diner in the middle of nowhere. That was great. And then I went down to the Taos Pueblo, got a tour there. So the amazing Native American community there. Really cool to hear about the history there. And also, I don't know a whole lot about Native American culture, and also...
Even though you watched Killers of the Flower Moon twice.
I did watch
I
that
mean,
twice.
once you were like rocking around on a freezing little board.
Yeah.
But you still watched it that first time.
No, this first time I was rocking around on the board.
Oh.
The second time, something happened. I don't know. It was...
Oh, you're right, because you and I watched it together the first time.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you watched it a second time.
Yeah, I had to stop you from throwing up into the water.
Would have been fine.
No, wouldn't have they have to clean that water?
Sure. I feel like it's filtered. No one ever falls in.
The filter broke after they lost all those here to slay cards through the filter
Yeah,
and
I
jammed
should have
it.
seen that one coming.
So I went there and I didn't know this, but a lot of Native American communities are very different. You have Native American communities, like tribes that sort of range and basically aren't settled in a particular place.
All right.
And then you have some like the people of Taos where they are, and they have an actual like village set up. And they taught us how they like made their houses there, made their buildings, how they have kept those up for the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years because they're the same
amazing.
buildings. They told us how they didn't used to have doors into the buildings. They're basically these I don't know if it's mud brick or what it is, but it's very smooth and used like very basic earth materials in the way of using mud and not hay, maybe hay to like make the bricks and sun dry those, and then make a more solid mortar between them, and then they cover that all with the mud texture. But anyways, they used to only have holes like the entry points at the top of the buildings, so like the on the roofs, and they had ladders to get up from the ground to the roofs. That way, when other tribes came, tribes that were like, raiders and things like that, what they did is the people on the outer bits of on the outer walls of the Pueblo would say, shit, raiders coming, everyone get indoors. They'd all get up into the buildings, pull the ladders up so nobody could get in. Yeah, because you can't really climb up the side of the buildings because they're quite tall.
Especially if someone's poking you.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That's fascinating.
They also got raided by the conquistadors, not conquistadors. Maybe
Maybe.
what were the Spanish?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a different word.
Thing, yeah. For sure.
But they came up through Mexico and were buggering them for a while. Like, brought religion, like the Christian faith to them, and then I don't know, their church got burnt down like 3 different times, and they ended up building it in a different spot. There's a lot of, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of years of history there, and it's all verbally. None of it's really written. It's all verbally passed down. So that was really interesting. It was interesting while getting the tour. Someone asked them about why they use the word pueblo for their village, because pueblo is the Spanish word for village. And it's because when the Spanish came, the Spanish were very aggressive against Native Americans, especially the wandering Native American tribes that just followed the season, followed where the food was, went wherever they wanted to go, weren't settled in a particular place. But when the Spanish came to Taos, they were like, oh, Pueblo, village.
Yeah.
This is a thing that we know, so we vaguely respect it. So they saw the Native American people there as something to respect. And so the people of Taos generally they use the word Pueblo. They do have their own word for it, but the language is something that is still being taught throughout the community. Not everyone knows it. They don't necessarily learn it growing up. but it is kept within the community. So a lot of things are kept within the community. Anyways, that was an amazing trip to Taos. Also saw the Big Gorge in Taos. That was cool. Then it went never eat soggy wheat bix west to back up into Colorado to stay at a motel for a night.
Yay!
No, it was a terrible experience at a motel. I paid 140 Australian dollars.
Oh my god, that's a lot.
And
was it nice?
No, it was the worst motel I could find because I didn't want to spend any money on it because I was only going to be there for one night. Had a terrible, terrible breakfast. I had everything they had though. I had a tub of yogurt. They had a waffle maker with waffle mixture already made, but it was all like leaky and gross, and the waffle didn't even fry, like it didn't cook properly, so it was all a muddled mess. And then I had some cereal. I was like, oh, the safest thing is probably to go for the bland, like cornflake style thing. I had that, and there were a couple of marshmallows and chocolate things in there. Like, great, this clearly had Lucky Charms earlier in it, and they just didn't clean it out, I guess. It was bad. I had some just a classic American pot of coffee there. It was very bad. I very much regret that experience. Anyways, after there, then I went to the Four Corners.
Is that like 4 states meet at one point?
Yes, so that is where 4 states meet at one point.
Jump between them and say the name of the state you're in every time?
So, wouldn't you like to know where the
Yeah, I feel like that's the only reason, like that's the first thing that you would do.
So the Four Corners.
Ohio, Colorado.
Yeah, go on.
Alaska.
You're wrong about 2 out of the 3 that you just said.
Yeah, that's fine. I only knew one.
So the Four Corners, going from, so the northeast state is Colorado. Mm-hmm. The southeast state is New Mexico. Mm-hmm. The
Arizona?
Southwest
Nevada?
one is Arizona.
Yes.
The northwest one is Utah.
Ah.
So I went there, but by the time I got there, the sun had gone down. I was like, okay.
Is it a town?
No, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. It was one of the things that I wanted to stop at because I was like, actually, okay, initially I thought it would be, because I'm really only spending time in Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. So my plan was, because I told everyone I was going to Four Corners, I thought it would be really funny to go to Four Corners and not walk into Arizona. That way, like, I'd been to Four Corners, but because it wasn't a state that I was actively going through, I thought it would be really funny to just have gone to Four Corners and have not gone into one of the corners, right?
Really good.
Right? Really funny. Anyways, I got to Four Corners. I got there. Let me find out what time I got there. It was pretty late. Like, the sun had gone down. It was a long drive there. Let's see here. Where is it? Okay. Yep. I have found it. Awesome. I got there about 6:56. And Reuben, I'll show you the photo that I took when I got there. Do you want to describe this photo to everyone?
Great. So we have Jett's wonderful smiling face holding up a thumb in front of the camera, and then in the foreground, and in the background it is lit by probably headlights.
Yeah, headlights.
And there's just a giant fuck off fence with barbed wire and a huge red sign saying closed in all caps.
Do you want to describe this next photo?
Okay, great. So this is taken further to the right because I can still see the big red ED. Mm-hmm. Jett's wonderful face again. This time the hand is pointing, and on the giant fence it says park hours 8 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. daily.
Yep. Do you want to describe this last photo for me?
So this is Jett's smiling face in the foreground. They're pointing at a sign in the background that's lit by car headlights that says, "Welcome to Arizona, the Grand Canyon state."
So
did you go around?
The Four Corners were shut, so I just drove down the road 15 minutes to get into Arizona. I mean, fuck you. My plan was foiled, but I'd be damned if I wasn't going to go to all 4 states then.
I feel like Arizona gaslit you into going to Arizona. You know, I'm not going, and they're like, you can't go, and you're like, that's outrageous. I'm going.
I'm going to Arizona. So one thing that I actually did before that, I just realized, is I also stopped by the what's it called? Mesa Verde, which is another Native American.
Green Mesa?
I have no idea. Another Native American pueblo, but this one had been abandoned. This one's abandoned for a long time. But this is a pueblo that was built on the cliff faces of gorges. So
I know it was gorgeous, but where was it built?
funny. I'll show you a photo, Reuben, and you can describe. This is now Reuben
Oh, wow. Okay.
translates a
Oh,
visual
geez.
medium.
Okay, so if you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're familiar with the air temple where it's buildings hanging off the cliff face upside down,
Yep.
flip that 180 degrees, and then you got this. Like the buildings are from the ground, protected by the overhanging cliff.
Yeah.
But they're built out of the same rock, and so it's a bit like Petra in the sense that you're like, was this carved or built? I mean, it was built, but
yeah.
it's like, it feels like a part of the. It's amazing. It's amazing. Think Machu Picchu underneath. Yeah, if it was underneath
within,
instead
like, a
of on
cave
top, it's
sort of thing?
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's huge.
It's massive.
Like
So
the
that's-
photo's quite zoomed out, so it looks. You have to think about it for a sec. But like you can see the size of the windows. This thing is huge.
There are quite a few of those in this area.
Also, it's like it's not individual houses. It's like Timbuktu or something. Like I don't know, like not the roofs or the outside are used as like thoroughfares, but like the living. I mean, it changes. There's a lot of kind of circular holes in the ground at the front, and then like
That's where they used to congregate.
yeah.
That was like a main meeting place.
That makes sense.
There's like 17 of them there. So yeah, this is the Cliff Palace. So that's the biggest one at Mesa Verde. And then they have more around the area.
It's amazing.
Yeah, really cool, right? Really, really cool. So I went there. I basically
How close can you get? How protected
So you
is it?
can get a tour down there, but because it was the end of autumn, it's not tourist season, couldn't get a tour. That happened with a couple of places, but honestly, I
That's
got to see
amazing to
things,
see, yeah.
and I was basically the only one there, so that was
Yeah.
also nice. It wasn't super
So
crowded.
amazing.
Yeah, so that was really, really cool. That was Mesa Verde, and then I drove. So that's when I drove to Four Corners, and then after Four Corners, went to a state park to just sleep. Had to get that one. Apparently, you're meant to pay for. You're meant to use you go to a car spot and then like take a card with a number and then put it with cash into an envelope in a main area. I didn't have any money on me. I didn't have any cash, so I was like, fuck it. I'm here at like 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go to sleep and wake up early and leave, which worked. And then not finally. I've got a couple more stops. After that, I went to Moab, which is a nice little town in Utah, and right next to it is the Arches National Park. Where basically
Arches.
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny.
That's your
isn't
surname.
it? Well, without the S, but yeah.
Every time you say Moab, which you've said once so far, I think of Bloons Tower Defense, and you know how they had like Zeppelins, and then the size up from Zeppelin that split into 4 Zeppelins was a Moab, a mother of all balloons. I think of that every time.
That's funny.
What?
So
I was
in
facing away from the mic, but I said what?
so Arches National Park. It's basically where
Wow.
the rock
How?
the rock on the landscape has split up and then been eroded over time. So you have these
How?
really long like strips of land with gaps, like strips of rock with gaps in between them, and then those rock lengths have been eroded over time. So you have these arches carved out.
Eroded
is.
underneath.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was absolutely gorgeous. It's the
Look at
classic
that photo.
right? It's the classic Utah weird rock formations.
Wow.
So it's really beautiful. There are even on a micro scale, there were these little divots and holes that almost look like rock climbing holes where you'd put your fingers in to climb. I don't know the rock face, but yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
The way it worked is there was salt under the ground that I think eroded because of water, and then kind of like is it a xylophone? What's the
Accordion?
accordion? Kind of like an accordion if you held it together at the bottom and split it up at the top, how it folded out, or like a book if you open a book. The land sort of fell into where that salt was, so you have a big sort of salt flat, and then you have these lines of rock. So really
That's so cool.
crazy rock formation. Crazy rock formation. That was gorgeous. Had a lovely hike there. Also saw a big rock on that looks like it should be falling.
Yeah,
but it's
how's that there?
it's like a big coin at the top of a mound that looks like it shouldn't be held. Like that classic, like if you think of Cars, and like the movie Cars, and they have all those weird rock formations. It's not exactly there, but it's
Same vibe.
Same vibe. Anyways, that was my trip.
Can I tell you a little bit about the history of Fort Collins?
Okay.
Second paragraph, Wikipedia. Fort Collins was founded as a military outpost of the United States Army in 1864. It succeeded a previous encampment known as Camp Collins on the Cache-la-Poudre River near what is known today as LaPorte. Camp Collins was erected during the Indian Wars of the mid-1860s to protect the overland mail route that had been recently relocated through the region. A couple of paragraphs down, settlers began arriving in the vicinity of the fort nearly immediately. So that's what I said.
Oh yeah, it's probably that bad thing.
Yeah,
man. It's
it's
probably
that
that
bad
bad
thing.
thing. Yeah, it's a nice town though, but it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
That was my road trip around the west. That was my West Coast story. Wait, West
Side story.
West Side story. There you go. Nice, good job.
Maybe West Coast is better actually.
No, because I wasn't on the West Coast.
No, you weren't.
I was in the west side.
West Mountains.
West Mount. Yeah, but I saw snow.
Hills.
I saw sand dunes.
Sand.
I saw farms.
Everything.
I saw big arches. I saw everything. It was crazy. I would recommend finishing a trip around there. I didn't like America before that trip. Well, I did. I used to like America, and then I went there, mainly to LA, and I was like, well, maybe this isn't that good.
Yeah.
And then I thought on it for a while. I was like, yeah, no, America kind of sucks. Then I went to Colorado, and it was gorgeous.
So what you're saying is that when you went away from the Americans, America was actually fine.
You're still within the Americans when you're in Colorado. What do you mean?
I feel like it doesn't sound like you didn't. I mean, you met people.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was the being by yourself, connecting with the landscape that was nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So America is cool.
Yeah, so America is cool, but Americans less cool.
Well, you'll have to hear my New York story to hear about how I feel about Americans.
Tune in next episode.
I interacted with a lot more Americans over there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah,
You can't get away from them.
Yeah, I fell in love with America while I was out there. I was like, wow, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous place. And it was great to travel on my own and have that sort of experience. I highly recommend doing a trip around there. I also highly recommend, if you're going on holiday to a place, I don't know if this applies everywhere, but I guess it applies to America and the western states, go during autumn. There's barely anyone around. You can get into places for free. You can sleep in your car if that's your vibe. You can pay $140 for a very expensive, shitty motel. Yeah,
nice.
I highly recommend it.
Sounds divine, honestly.
Yeah, you should do it. Do it right now. Go.
do it.
What have you got holding you here? Huh?
You on the list?
You didn't think of anything quick enough?
No, I sure did.
I booked your flight already.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say you.
Aw. All right, fine. You can stay.
Great.
Remember what have we got up
But you're
next?
paying for that flight still, right?
Shit, yeah.
It's
I
alright,
did
if it
book
was with Qantas, it's probably a fake flight anyway. So
What do we do next?
we do the section called Up and Up.
Every time I'm bringing it up, I'm talking about up and up. Not the theme song.
What's coming up and what's following? What are you following up on?
That's right. So what's coming up is, I mean, I did the Fort Collins thing, so I can get rid of that. Oh!
What?
What's coming up for me is American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Am I watching Oppenheimer again? No.
Okay.
But I wish I was.
Oh.
Nah, here we go. You are visual designer, right? You talked about how
Yeah.
fit to print was super satisfying and
Yeah.
engaging for you to put together, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of what I said.
Can I show you? And
I'm
normally
100%
someone
conscious and responsible for everything I have ever said, regardless of how inebriated I am.
Okay, great. In that case, you got some things to answer for. Here we go. I don't normally pay attention to visual design. I'll notice if a button doesn't take me where I want it to, but it'll be fine or whatever.
Are you going to complain about the visual design
I'm
of
going
a
to
bomb?
complain about the visual design of this book,
Oh.
and you will see why when
Okay.
I show it to you.
Have I got to describe something?
Oh, yeah,
visual for
please
me-
describe
for you?
this photo.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that I initially don't hate it.
Really? It's terrible.
It's
I can't look at it.
It's really difficult to read.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting layout. So what we've got
sure.
is the main thing here is we've got
You're going to go meta with this? You're going to be like, it's actually great?
We've got Robert Oppenheimer's face on basically the whole of the left side
Can I
of the
just
book.
point out it also wraps around to the spine in a disgusting way?
It does wrap around to the spine. On the spine we have horizontally the word Oppenheimer. Lowercase, which is interesting for a last name. So on the back to the front though, I'll work from the top down. So we have a red strip at the very top of the page that says in all caps, the inspiration for the major motion picture Oppenheimer.
To be fair, like now a movie stickers always look bad because they ruin whatever's already going on.
This is not
the
a
cover.
terrible one because it doesn't have like a Netflix logo or something like that, but still not great.
That's true.
Not great. Now on the right side of the cover, you actually have to like flip the book 90 degrees
Pages
anti-clockwise to read it. It says in all caps in a darkish red. This has a black background, by the way. It says Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin, and then in white text it says American Prometheus, and then under that in smaller all caps it says the triumph and tragedy of, and then a space to make room for the H of Oppenheimer, J. Robert, and then in all lowercase, Oppenheimer. All that was in orange. And then under that on the right half of all the text, because everything has sort of been full width so far, it says winner of the Pulitzer Prize in a different red, than the top, like author red, and a different red to the top red banner. And then if you flip it back vertical again, down the bottom right, not fitting, slightly larger than the width of the text that was taking up half the page, it says
too small,
really small, reads like a thriller, gripping and terrifying by turns. That's in grey, different colour again. And then in red, I can't tell if it's the same red as the Pulitzer Prize one or not. John Carey Sunday Times.
You know what gets worse about that?
What?
The blurb on the back is all just quotes, so there's no reason not to put it there.
Yeah.
Otherwise the blurb's fine.
Also on the back,
also you can
different
see just
size text.
a tiny bit of Oppenheimer's right ear in grey, black and white, still wrapping around from the front of the book.
Weird.
Why?
On the back, it has in larger text than the rest of them. I think the rest of the text is small, like is the same font
Thank
size.
goodness.
But at the top one, it's a riveting account of one of history's most essential and paradoxical figures, Christopher Nolan. So, yeah, it's really bad. It's really quite bad. I didn't hate it initially, but the longer I look at it, the more I hate. I just thought it would. I thought maybe it was, I don't know, stylistically they took a take on it.
Yeah.
But
which I respect. But it's not like the the words Oppenheimer, like all that all caps text makes a shape, or like it's just half his face and half sideways text.
You could it feels kind of not lazy, but like a middling graphic designer did it. So no one who's really
saw this
passionate.
on the like the library website, and I thought initially, before I looked at it for a second more, that it was like, you know when like ebooks have like a fake cover on the library catalog, like they look weird, like a placeholder thing. I thought this was that. I thought this was like a weird preprint copy, not the book itself, but image.
Yeah.
And they hadn't got an updated image. No. This came out in the last year. This came out in 2005. This one came out after the movie that came out this year. So change it. Or they chose to do this a second time.
What they could have done, and I generally hate this when they do it, use art from the movie.
Honestly, yeah.
I wouldn't have liked it if it was Cillian Murphy's face.
No.
But if you did something else, I don't know, you have all of the visuals of the film to use. This is
the third printing of this book.
Weird. I wonder if they all look like that, or if they.
I wonder.
Did the first one look like that? Do you know? If the first. Stop bumping the table. You're not listing things.
So this is the third one.
Do you know if the first one was? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know, but I presume so. You wouldn't actively choose to make this after swapping from something else.
I guess not.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that I keep looking at the blurb and I can just see the tip
of Oppenheimer's ear.
of Oppenheimer's right ear.
Gross. So that's your coming up.
So that's my coming up.
Are you following up? on
No
anything?
following up. This was completely distracting.
Stop bumping
I bumped
the table.
again. I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry. I'm so agitated.
Okay.
Anyway, what have
you don't have any following up?
I don't think so. I didn't write anything down.
That doesn't mean you're not following up on anything.
What did we do last week?
Good question. You were the one who.
You haven't seen Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes yet?
No.
So there's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
So that's all we talked about last week that I can remember.
Do I have anything to follow up on? I don't think so.
That's cool.
I don't think there's anything for me to follow up on.
What's coming up?
What's coming up for me? I am seeing Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I think was my coming up last time.
Yes, it was.
But I plan to see that. I'm seeing that in a couple of days. And coming up for me, I don't know what's coming up for me. Do I have to bring it coming up?
Yep.
Is that a thing that we legally have to do?
Yep.
All right, I'll think of something. Gosh, what are things that I'm doing soon? Tell me, Reuben.
Going to see the movie.
Which movie?
I'm pointing at my butt.
Oppenheimer. Because your butt's the bomb.
Thanks, babe. But no.
We're going to go see the movie Bottoms. Yes. So, that's my coming up. Super excited for this. I don't know.
What is it? Why are we seeing it?
We're seeing it because it looks good. And what is it? I actually don't know enough about it. It's Lesbian Fight Club. That's the pitch. So
I don't even know if I've seen a trailer. I'm just trusting the opinions of people that I respect.
I've seen clips of trailers. I've heard that it's really, really good. I was excited to see it when it came out, but then it didn't come out in Australia when it came out everywhere else. So it was actually, I think it was a lot of a push. Like, it wasn't going to come out in Australia because it wasn't meant to be a big film. But then there was a big push. So now I see advertising of it as like, Bottoms finally coming to Australia. You asked for it. We've got it for you. So that's exciting. I was actually going to maybe see it while I was over in the US because I thought that might be the only place that I could see it in cinemas. And then I didn't. So I get to see it here. Going to go see that. That's exciting. And yeah, I don't really have anything to follow up on. Cult of the Lamb is still great. Still chugging away at that. Yep. That's it.
Cool.
Now, let's finish this episode, Reuben.
Let's finish this episode. It's a very long episode.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thank you to Hetty Moysey for our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful podcast art.
Yes.
Oh wait, are we gonna do mail?
No, you started the outro.
What, Reuben? I said at the start of the episode.
It's like 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay, fine. Mail next week though.
Mail next week. Oh yeah.
Definitely mail next week.
Mail next episode.
You promise?
Next week.
You gonna pinky promise me?
I will pinky promise. Mail next week.
Okay. That's a real pinky promise, everyone.
It's a real pinky promise.
You can't
I just
break
did
that.
It. I bumped the table, but I wasn't listing anything. Does that invalidate the pinky promise?
Yes.
Okay. Mail next week, though.
Mail next week, though.
Mail next week.
Okay. If you want to get in touch for that mail, email in stinishedit@gmail.com. Also, there's probably other ways to get in touch with us. I don't know. No, there's
We're
not.
off grid. We walk this down out of a mountain once a week and post it. That's it.
Isn't there a
You can come to the top of the dune if you can make it. Otherwise, email.
Okay. Email us at
Email's the only internet we have connected.
or you can message
on top
us
of our Mountain Dune.
at Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Mountain Dew.
Okay. Like the
Just
month
a big
of
pile
Dew?
of, no. Just a big pile of bottles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
That's what keeps us going through this podcast.
I
The
would
mountain
like
slowly gets smaller.
follow
every
us
time
on
we drink
Instagram.
bottles, We're just getting lower and lower.
Follow
So if
us
you wait
on-
enough years, we'll be down at ground
follow us on
level.
Instagram at Stinished It.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can
that's
also
a thing.
message us there if you want to get in touch.
I guess.
Rate us 5 stars on your podcast app of choice. I'll tell you what, if you write a review, we'll read it during mail.
Oh, yeah.
We will read it during mail. Brilliant. Thank you for another week of this podcast, Reuben.
Thank you for another week of this podcast, Jett.
No problem.
And thank you, listeners.
What was the segment we added?
What?
The segment at the start of the show that we added.
Segment at the start of the show we
Yeah,
added was,
I've had my drink.
what you got a drink this week?
You got to drink this week. Have you got to drink this week? Have you put salt in it? Ho, ho, ho. Have you got to drink this week? That's a new theme.